Here.
Rod is not here. Mr. Facto?
Here.
Mr. Randall?
Here. Alright. The board of members have been provided with a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. A motion will be entertained to approve and accept the minutes thereto. Regular meeting on October 25th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. And again, for the public hearing on October 25th of 2022, can I get a motion?
Okay, move. Second.
Mr. Facto. Mr. Newton, second.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, addresses, I have none. Communications,
Monthly reports.
Yep. Anyway, we got communications first.
Oh, just not printed. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
This is Ginger of the new, that's the one that was posted.
Okay.
This is the agenda.
Okay, go ahead. It's no big-
Okay, I received a communication from one of the council members on a posting on a website. It was in direct response to a special meeting notice that was put out on our website. I will read that into the record today. Special meeting November 19th of 2022. The town of Schuyler Falls will hold a special meeting on November 19th of 2022 at 10 a.m. located at the Town Hall, 997 Mason Street, Morrisville, New York, 12962. This meeting replaces the regular meeting that was scheduled to be held on November 15th at 6 p.m. at the same location as above. Sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused our residents in the town, as there was some confusion of a matter of order. The problem arose when the posting of the meeting was not placed to our town website a full 24 hours in advance. The question was then raised if conducting this meeting would be legal under open meetings law. The question was raised by a resident of the town of Schuyler Falls. I explained that as long as we had taken due diligence and requested it to be placed on the town website, we could proceed with the meeting, as this was beyond our control, that the task was not completed in a timely manner. I further explained that it had been requested to be put up on the town website on 11/10 of 22. A town councilman agreed with the resident and refused to stay and attend the meeting, thereby leaving us without a quorum. The issue has been clarified by New York State Association of Towns, who also gave the town the same advice as our attorney. If an attempt has been made to conform with the law, and it was through no fault of the town that a notice was not posted either to the media press or to the town website, then the meeting not only can proceed, but should proceed in the best interest of the town and its residents. Again, my apologies for any inconvenience this may have caused you. Respectfully, Kevin J. Randall. Now, this was set out because it is very unusual to have a Saturday meeting here. And the residents in this town should have been notified as to why that was necessary. Okay? And it further went to back up the importance of our website manager to make sure that his inactions do have consequences. So that was the intent of this letter. Again, communication that I got from one of the councilmen gave this. I'm going to read this into the record also. This was put on a media web page, so therefore it is public information. This is from Mr. Dona. I went to the town of Schuyler Falls website and saw that Mr. Randall's post blaming me and Mr. Facto for what happened last Tuesday. Well, as I recall, Mr. Randall stated at the record meeting that he did not have access to the website because he did not have a password for it. He had access to post so he could blame us, but not to post a agenda. When we tell so many lies, sometimes you forget what you already said. Honestly, honesty is the best policy. But being honest means sometimes you have to admit you screwed up. I don't forget the final words Tuesday night to me. Mr. Randall keep coming at me. That's in quotations. It's an incomplete quote. I'll set the record straight on that also. Which I believe was said in anger. Believe me, Mr. Randall, until you can run this town honestly and with integrity and respect for the people, I intend to do just that, which I take as a threat.
Take it any way you want.
Could I at least say
I'm
something?
going to finish this and then you can say whatever you want, okay?
Okay.
First of all, here are all the emails, and I'll show the councilman up here. These are all the emails to Pat, which is our website manager. This one starts out on November 10th of 2022. Okay, this is a email on the 10th saying to Pat, this is the agenda for the regular monthly meeting of November 15th, 2022. We are having it early due to the Thanksgiving holiday. If you could get this up now, it would be great. So there is the original post, and there is the original agenda that I posted to him. You want to see it?
No, I think no.
November 15th. It was sent out on the 10th of November to you because it didn't get posted on time. So this was at 9:53 a.m. in the morning after I had sent an email to him saying he needs to repost it. 9:15 at 10:05. I sent you this last week. Also, did you get the email? Again, this was on the ZBA board to make sure the ZBA board agenda was posted. Wednesday, November 16th. Hi, Pat. There are two I need to put up for a special meeting on Saturday, the 19th. Please let me know when they are posted. Also, don't forget the ZBA board agenda that needs to be posted now also because it still wasn't up there. So this is the request for the special meeting. And there's the special meeting agenda. And there was the second one, which is that letter I just wrote into the read into the record that he posted. Again, those were all lies in that.
Well, I'm
some
gonna take
people
an
are
opportunity
not.
to defend myself also on this subject.
You could talk
I'm
after.
ahead of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. On November 16th, 2022, here's Pat saying that everything was posted. Both of them. November 16th, here's the ZBA agenda, again, that needed to be posted. Finally got done. November 16th again, email. This was me thanking him, saying that he had posted, thanks times 3. On November 17th, hey Pat, you did not change the time and it still says 6 p.m. That meeting on Saturday, the 19th, is at 10 a.m. please correct ASAP. This was due to the due diligence of Mr. Facto.
Oh, I like that word.
Yep, who wrote that in your email to me, or your text
I
message
did,
to me,
I did.
okay? Explaining that it still was not posted correctly. And I actually was at another job, so I couldn't do much about it then, other than, at that point in time, I asked him if he could check the agenda to make sure the agenda was posted correctly, did I not? And it
Am I
wa-
being interrogated?
No, I just wanna make sure that we're all good
Of
here.
course I did.
All right,
Yet
and-
that wasn't corrected, but anyway,
Okay.
that's not, that,
So, again, I got this back, as he knew, I said at 10 o'clock at night, I would stop back down to the office. And here is the November 17th, 2022, at 10:04 p.m., resending that email to Pat. And he said it was over, okay? Again, I don't have control of the website. That was full of inaccuracies, and I did not post the letter directly. It was posted through the website management. There were multiple reasons why this needed to be addressed, okay? First of all, we could have went forward with that meeting, okay? It took Donna and I almost the better part of a whole day to make sure that we could hold this meeting and do it correctly. And that was after contacting 3 different attorneys, including the Association of Towns. It's important to conduct the business of the town. It is important to the residents to make sure that we can conduct the business of the town, okay? So, when a meeting is not being able to be held, it does hurt the town. It hurts the residents of the town, and it doesn't allow us to pay for our bills. But moreover than that, there was a resolution that night to hire a employee for Mike Snyder at the highway department, which couldn't be done, okay? So that affected not only that employee and when his start date was, and when his state retirement date might have been, but also affected his pay and his benefits. Moreover than that, we were looking at a 2-day storm coming up, which I appreciate Mike, all the work he did with the short help that you had to get the roads taken care of.
got it done.
So that also put the health and safety of the residents at risk, okay? And that is the type of stuff that we try to avoid by making sure that we can conduct our business and do it in a timely fashion, at least as timely as we are allowed to do.
Are you done?
That's why we really need a website that works. For
And,
years, when we're saying that we did due diligence, it makes no sense because you're saying it's through no fault of the town. It's the fault of the website that 2 months ago brought it up, 3 months ago I brought it up, 2 years ago I tried the website, it didn't work.
okay,
In other
So-
words, that vendor should have been replaced as incompetent a long time ago.
first of all, we'll hold the public comments to the end. But secondly, okay, I don't get to just fire this guy, okay? He was hired by a motion.
Mr.
of
Facto
this
could put
board.
a motion on the table
Okay.
anytime to fire this guy. He never has once, yet
Right.
he walks out of meetings. That's
Again.
absolutely
Okay.
ridiculous. This is
No, I mean-
this whole thing's a farce.
Right.
Well, could I say, well, go
Hang
ahead.
on just a
You go
minute.
ahead.
Like I said.
But that's
Um,
okay, that's.
You could bring a motion to the table at any time to fire this webmaster, could you not, to this board? And you've never done that
Well,
once.
he could.
You could. You're the one that, anyone
No.
could.
What do you,
Let's-
Any one of you
let's-
guys could,
let's
so it's
not-
not on the supervisor, it's on the
Again.
board.
You're not happy with the website either.
No, I'm
No.
not, but it's not on
so
one
why
guy,
are
it's on
you,
the whole board.
it doesn't make sense what you're saying.
No, it does, it's the entire
We're all
board.
not happy with it.
Right.
But it's no,
Well,
I mean, it's
Excuse
a
me,
discussion for the
excuse
town
me.
board.
But-
So
excuse
go
me,
and fire the guy.
every,
it's not.
excuse me,
Point of order, this is
Hang
public
on,
discussion.
before this
Don't we
gets out of
need to
order, we can't have everybody talking at the same time.
Thank you.
And really, we
We'll
should
we'll finish
hold
off with some
public
comments.
comment
Okay,
till after, okay?
Well, I
I
am
will
gonna take
hear
an opportunity
every-
to defend
I
what
will
you said
hear-
here. I'm not gonna wait till public comment time.
If you do not follow the rules here, we can
Yeah,
have you
well,
removed if you
seem
were
to have
gonna
the
be
same
disruptive.
problem. You don't
Okay.
follow the rules very well either.
Again, we have
It's like
Policy
Tuesday
in
night.
effect.
If Mike had hired that guy Tuesday night, was he approved by civil service and been checked out by
Yes.
DOT and everything? He
Yes.
was ready
Yeah,
to go in that
but we
truck
don't have to
Wednesday
answer
morning.
this
He
now.
was.
Yes.
Yes.
Could I
He's all
talk
set to go.
before he gets removed?
Yeah.
Well, as long
Okay.
as he
Oh, you're
gonna
gonna
let
say.
us continue with the meeting uninterrupted, that
Okay.
would be great.
Anyway, the other night, okay, no matter the way you're looking at, you're kind of actually blaming me for leaving, in a way.
No, I
Yeah,
wasn't.
Well, sort of.
No.
Sort of. You gotta read the letter again here.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm not ashamed of leaving the other night because I had no answer to this. Actually, the meeting should have been adjourned until you contacted an attorney that night. And then we could have proceeded with having the meeting. But you're putting all of this on me to sit in a meeting that was possibly an illegal gathering, and I just decided not to do that. Now, it isn't a big deal. It was just Tuesday night, and here we are Saturday morning. We're ready to conduct town business right now. So, as far as me apologizing to the public, I've never missed a town board meeting, and it was a decision that I did make on my own, and I'm not going to apologize for it because I had absolutely no guidance. Our town attorney wasn't here. Okay? The Association of Towns, we couldn't call them at that hour. So I did the right thing. I did the right thing by leaving. And I'm sorry that the quorum we couldn't make the quorum when I left. But yet, could I really stay if it wasn't a proper meeting? Not really. I did the right thing. And I don't want to talk about Facebook or any posting. We'll be here all day. It's not even relevant to the town board. We're here to conduct town business. That's all.
What is
Not talk about
relevant, though, is He
Facebook.
made accusations publicly, and I'm gonna defend him.
Well, I defended mine. Go ahead. It's your turn.
Because he stated that, however, that posting he made, that letter of pointing the finger at everybody, but the chief operating officer of this town who's sitting in that chair has full control to make the agenda. He could put it online, a finger pointing letter, but he couldn't put up an agenda.
Well, that
Today's
web-
agenda is effective. It's not properly dated, no proper time. So people look at that and they say, "Ooh, this meeting already happened." You know, on the 15th. So that's defective. The New York State town law states that to call a special meeting, you need a written request from 2 councilmen to the supervisor requesting that. You see, now he knows it all. He knows better than what the town law says. You know, but he's good at pointing the finger and deflecting the blame to everybody else. But the man is sitting in that chair. He is the final word here. It's his decision to get rid of that webmaster and get somebody in here that can do it.
That's not true. The
It is true.
The town
Okay.
board has full discretion on who they hire as a webmaster. It's not Kevin's decision.
Right, alright,
But as the chief operating
Okay,
officer,
so
he has
he's
the
one vote.
right.
alright, so then,
This is-
wait, okay, this is
Yeah, but
not a
see-
back and forth.
Well, this is a- I have a first
Mr.
amendment right to
Facto,
speak
as a
I've ever
councilman,
been.
And I'm
I have
just-
to let him speak,
I'm
one
just-
at a time,
At any
one
time.
at a time.
So,
Okay.
Well, it's me depending what you were accused of.
I thought you were done, go ahead.
No. So it all falls to you, as far as I'm concerned. You can bring it up for a vote, like he says, anybody. But you're the main function here. You're the man in the chair running the place.
Reg can make a motion
Why
right
don't
now.
you be quiet
Right now.
while I'm
Don't tell me
talking?
to be quiet.
I am telling
You're not
you to
gonna
be
tell me to be
quiet.
quiet.
Hey,
I can tell you
hey.
that.
Again.
Well, let me tell you something. He can bring a motion
Let him
right
finish so we
now.
can get through
And
this.
I
he's not.
understand that anybody
And he's
can.
not. Why
But
not do it right
He
now?
is the chief officer.
Bring a motion.
Bring a
He runs this
motion.
place.
Reg, bring a motion right now to fire the webmaster. Let's
He
get it
can
done,
make-
right?
He
We
can
already
make up
have the
purchases
agenda.
up to
Okay.
$10,000 on his
Okay.
own.
Okay.
Fire him and
Are
make your
you,
own
can you not bring a
decision.
motion to the floor?
I suppose I
Okay.
could.
Then do it.
The town attorney, once again, isn't here.
So we can't
I
conduct.
would turn around and ask him.
We
if I
should
could.
probably start electing.
Do I
Okay.
wanna get rid
So
of the
that
webmaster?
this does
Sure I
not
do.
get out of hand, I'm gonna answer those questions that were posed to me, and then we're gonna move on,
The
okay?
problem is the webmaster, right?
Right.
So if we've solved the
Okay.
webmaster problem, get rid
So-
of the webmaster, that's 90% of the
And
problem.
that needs to be
It solves
done
his problem,
by
your
a
problem.
motion of this board,
Well, I'm
okay?
sure he
And
can get a
we
new
still
webmaster
need,
I
for
didn't say he couldn't.
$10,000 a year.
listen,
And he can authorize up to
I have
$2,000
asked
a year.
Well, he
politely
has to
4
have the board
times
approval
for
to
you
fire
two
the
to stop,
webmaster.
Yeah.
so they don't have to remove you, okay? Alright, to answer Mr. Facto's questions, alright? I never asked you to apologize, Mr. Facto. And I
Good, I'm glad you
respected,
clarified that, cause I'm not gonna. So, good,
are you gonna allow me to speak now? I didn't interrupt you.
you sure can.
Okay. I never asked you to apologize. Matter of fact, in the letter, it clearly stated in there that you, on the advice of Mr. Dona, felt that you should not move forward, okay? It's clear as day in there, saying that
I-
at that point in time,
I
you
never
decided.
consulted with Mr. Dona.
No, but-
Mr. Dona is not on the town
You
board.
are not- Are you gonna keep talking over?
You left on Tuesday night at the consultation of Richard Dona.
Right.
He
And
brought
that's
up that at his
exactly
legal
what I'm
meeting,
saying.
he walked out.
Were you here?
I watch it on video, he's got it on YouTube, you can watch
Yeah.
it, it's great.
Thank God he put stuff
Yeah,
on,
right,
on
I'm just
YouTube,
saying, I
Dave,
watched it, it was
because
great.
we have no
You took the
website.
consultation
They're
of it.
protecting
Listen,
the
I'm
gonna spin
website.
the subject
website
around.
is like
The fact of
Fort
the matter
Knox.
was, you
It's
took
under
advice
so
from a
much
town
protection.
resident and walked out, a Democrat at that.
No, he's
Listen.
from the Ridley
We're
Church.
not getting
you're
into
getting-
politics here, and secondly, I'm not here to lose what's going on. I'm just trying to address an issue, okay? And hopefully, after this, it's done, all right? Again, I never asked you to apologize. I respected your opinion to leave, okay? I clearly stated in there
I'm
that
here.
after that happened,
Kevin, I'm
I
back
could
here
not-
again. I'm ready to conduct town business. I don't need to hear any more of this. It's over with. Let's move. Let's
No,
move on.
I still have to answer these questions that were posed to you. So again, I never asked for any apology. And I, again, put in there exactly what happened that night. As far as the posting is pertinent, because again, that is a direct reflection on this board, all right? So it is very important to answer those questions and to set the record straight.
Are you responding
far-
to Facebook posts or to internal
He's,
memos that
he's
were
talking about the
elected?
Facebook post.
Okay, so
Shoot,
unless you
shoot,
have a verified
shoot.
Facebook account, it could be his 13-year-old nephew posting.
Right.
If we're down to like
Listen,
talking about what's on Facebook,
I didn't ask,
I
again,
could have
you
15
guys to
Kevin
talk until after,
Randall,
all right?
accounts tomorrow.
Mr.
Like, you can't
MD,
use Facebook as
I'm
a
asking
basis
you
for
not
any
to
kind of
disrupt
facts.
the meeting and to quit, please.
Alright.
And you're a zoning board member, so be careful.
Okay, and as far
Mr.
as
Excuse
the,
me, Mr. Facto, I'm sorry, now I'm gonna have something to say. Mr. Facto,
Yeah.
you tell a member of the public, and he is sitting here as a member of the public, as a constituent, as a taxpayer, and you remind him of his position with this town,
I
and
appreciate that. Thank you.
excuse me, and you use the words, "I would be careful," I'm sorry, now I'm gonna have something to say to you.
That's good advice.
Okay? I will not sit in this chair and be lectured to by you or anyone else about what I should be careful about in my life. You firmly understand that?
You
Alright,
And that
can't.
goes,
again,
and that
I'm
goes
gonna-
for anyone.
I'm gonna ask.
I don't even know who you are.
Public comment go out.
Excuse me, that goes for everyone that's sitting over here looking at you.
Alright,
We will not be reminded.
please,
If you're
Let's
crossing the street
refrain
and somebody
until
says,
after.
be careful, you could either say thank you or you could get mad
that,
about it.
listen,
This is crazy.
Yeah, this-
the last thing,
Foolishness.
the last thing, and I'm done with this. The open meetings law, you are wrong about, as much as you like to quote it, okay? 2 councilmen can request. I can also request it, okay? So it doesn't take 2 councilmen to hold a special meeting, because I also have the ability to do that. So read your open meetings law that you like to quote so well.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll interpret it any way it works well for
That
you.
is exactly spelled out in black and white in open meetings law.
It does say in writing, are those
And
available?
it was in
for
writing, it was
request?
done electronically, and it was done with an envelope, and they were, every council member answered. Every council member answered, which I have all the emails of.
Which
for
two
the
members
special meeting.
submitted in writing the request for the special meeting?
It was
No,
put
which two
into their,
members?
it was put into their boxes here.
No,
in
I'm
writing.
asking which 2 members requested
They
in
didn't have to,
writing?
the supervisor did.
Supervisor did.
Yeah, but did you request in writing
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
that's what it says, 2 members have to request. it in
yes,
writing.
I requested it in writing.
And who else requested it in writing?
If two
What
members,
member? What board member? I'm just asking.
Okay, so,
Stop.
I'm gonna,
It's 2 board members or the supervisor can request it. So the supervisor requested it
just one?
in writing to 2
Yes.
board members.
no, the
No, that's
supervisor,
not how it reads.
Yeah, it
yes,
does.
it is.
You want me to go get it?
That's how the state law.
Yeah, go
reads.
get
state law
the
doesn't
law.
override the town.
And this is, here, hence, this will be the last meeting that we will follow our policies, okay? That were adopted for how to run a meeting. This will be the last time that a meeting down here gets hijacked, okay?
It's not hijack. We're town residents.
I understand
And the
that,
town board
and there
failed.
is a explicit written policy that this town board adopted on how meetings are to be handled.
Where can we get that? The website?
You can get that right from me. Stop down and
I
get
need
it
that
from
so
me.
that I can follow those rules. I can't follow those rules if I don't know them.
I understand public discussion.
Well, you get a chance to speak after the fact, when everything's done and settled, then you get a chance to speak. When
Actually-
resolutions are all passed and
Actually,
everything's
by
done,
open
then you
meetings
get a
law,
chance to speak.
I do want to obey the rule. I just need to know what they are.
by open meetings law,
And
we don't
even
have
when
to
they
give public
concocted
forum.
this,
Period.
it even put a time limit on how long you can speak.
Well, seeing we're on this topic, there are towns that allow public input at the beginning of the meeting. And
Correct.
then they allow it at the end of the meeting.
We do also.
Okay, well, that's what they're doing,
No, they're not, because there's a written policy, and that would be under communications and
Oh, you
petitions.
mean our filed policy?
They,
Come on.
they,
You wanna
read it,
at the
Trevor?
beginning,
Okay,
they're supposed to drop a letter to the town clerk, asking to be, have a communication or petition in front of the board at the beginning of the
At the
meeting.
meeting,
That's
okay.
the first part. Then the second part of our rules were
That's
that
in the county legislature.
they would allow them to speak
We
at
do it
the
at the
end
That should be
Yes.
the-
in up
Yeah.
to 3 minutes, more
That's what
time
I'm-
granted if the board felt it was needed. But this cannot continue, and they are not part of the board, okay? We are the elected board. So we still have to be able to conduct business in a timely fashion. We're here at 10:30 on a Saturday morning trying to do just that. And most people have better things to do than to hang out down here on a Saturday morning. So this should be a very, very structured and quick meeting because it's
Yeah.
even a special meeting.
and I can just quickly, really quickly address your concern honestly. Mr. MD and I just got done a zoning school in Lake Placid. That's why I made that comment to him. He rode up with me and we had a conversation.
Reg,
I'm certainly not
Reg,
opposed to
Reg,
Mr.
Reg,
MD.
you have the right to explain yourself.
Okay.
But what I'm here to tell you is, without the context of what preceded prior to your comment, and I
Okay.
didn't have the context, you told what I view as a member
Oh,
of the public,
okay.
excuse me,
The-
you told what I
You did?
view as a member of the
You read it?
public and a taxpayer to be careful. That's not appropriate language to be used
Okay.
at a town board meeting.
All right,
Okay,
that's fine.
please understand that.
Okay.
As
Okay.
you don't know any context of what happened to me earlier today,
No,
I nor have pre-context
I
to what
honestly,
took
I don't
place.
even know you,
Reg, you don't have to know me. I will introduce myself if you.
All right.
but I know him.
So, can
He's a
we,
friend of mine.
can we move ahead?
So,
along?
anyway, it's so
One
crazy.
more thing and I'm done.
Thank you very much.
You make an issue out of what Reg said, but nobody made an issue out of what remark he made over even being a Democrat.
No, I did. I made
Yeah,
it.
he said I wasn't allowed to
They-
bring
go ahead
politics.
and
Who said the
demean
word
I said
Democrat?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
know, I'm
right,
sorry. I
apologize,
should have
David,
said-
apologize.
I'm
to
sorry,
him.
Richard, that you're Democrat.
There you go,
Sir,
so,
you can't,
All right.
sir, you can't tell somebody to have a specific comment about anything specific.
All right, all right.
Also,
I-
dropping F-bombs.
I will
I
have
can
to
say
clear
that.
this.
F-bomb protected.
I will clear this whole
Yeah,
area.
so, yeah, it's
So
protected.
Yeah.
we can say the word careful.
Gentlemen and
That's
ladies, I will clear this whole forum. All right? We still need to move forward with the business. Please, be respectful to each other. Please be respectful to the board. We will be respectful to you, okay? But we cannot have chaos, all right? Go ahead.
all right,
Please.
just for clarification, chapter 3 of town law, 3-4 types of meeting. B, special meetings. A town supervisor may, on his or her own, call a special meeting at any time by giving the other board members at least 2 days written notice specifying the time and place of meeting. Alternatively, if 2 board members submit a written request for a special board meeting, the supervisor may schedule a special meeting within 10 days of the request. See Town Law 62-2. Business conducted at a special meeting held without 2 days' notice is valid as long as the councilman had actual notice of the meeting, attended, and participated.
Is that Article 62 you're reading?
No, that is town law.
Yeah, but is that, in the heading, is it Article 62?
No, it's town law, chapter 3.
Town law doesn't supersede state law.
This is state law,
That's
town.
what we're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just town law.
There's town law, there's village law. And we're obligated by the state laws to follow town law. We're not a village, we're a town.
It's town law 62-2. Says right
Yep,
in there.
62-2 is
Yeah.
in there, yep.
Yeah, that, punch that up when I get home.
Again, you are half right. If 2 councilmen, it takes 2 of them, if 2 councilmen would like to bring up a special meeting, they do exactly what you said. As a supervisor, I can call a special meeting, as long as I get it 2 days in advance, and as long as they get it in writing. All right?
Which
Hopefully
I will
that-
attest we
well-
did get.
And these are all the emails that I received back from them, and the confirmation that they knew it was in their box. A hard copy letter. Alright, we can move on with the communications. Sad news, unfortunately, we did apply for the 2002, which actually would have been awarded in 2003, New York State WIA grant. This year, they cut them back, but they split the program for water with immediate health issues. So I think that's why it got split for like PFOA and PFOS issues. So it says, good afternoon, Supervisor Randall. As you may be aware, the 2022 New York State WIA Awards have been announced. Unfortunately, it appears that the town was not selected for an award in this round. It looks as though there was only about a third of the funding available in this round compared to the previous ones. Only 73 awards were made across the entire state. Additionally, it appears that the vast majority of the awards were allocated to projects that address immediate health and safety threats such as PFOAs. So, unfortunately, we did not get that WIA grant. I got a communication back from Brian Davies. This is in regards to Mr. Facto's request looking into the Rixon app. Okay. He goes, I looked back through the results of Rixon app and found only one property exceeded the MCL for PFOA. I sent an email to New York State Department of Health to inquire if any additional investigation will be performed. I reviewed the water line plans, that's on the other issue, the water line plans for the Rixon app, and he's waiting for the revised plans to be there. Again, that hinges on, I think this pretty much looking for where a few of the septic systems are, so that it does not, the plans don't have to be shown on, the septic systems have to be shown in the plans to show that it doesn't interfere with the local septic systems up there. I received an email back from the county. This came from Mr. Zerlo. This is in regards to the Sand Road PFOA, PFOS issue. We've been working on this, for God, about 2.5, almost going on maybe 3 months. It looks like the last markup that we sent back to the county, they pretty much agreed to all the changes. I will get you guys a copy of this, okay? Because I just got this. And we are going to request a couple words, again, be added back in that are not there. But it looks like we're moving forward on that progress. Again, the Sand Road does not have public water today. It would be up to the residents up there to allow us to create that special district. The wells themselves are owned privately that have the issues with the PFOA and PFOSs up there. So we're trying to resolve the issue by getting a water line up the Sand Road to help out those residents so they can get clean drinking water.
Do you think that could start next year? Possibly?
Again, Mr. Donor, I'm gonna ask after all the stuff that happened this morning, if we could ask those questions after. I don't mind if you write them down.
Well, it's not a controversial one.
No, I know it's not. I'm just trying to stay within the guideline. I have no timeline. And until they come up with a funding. There's funding that is being worked on right now. I know they applied for WIA also. Also, I believe that there is a private industry that will be also helping with some of that water line. So there's multi municipalities involved with this. We have to get an MOU with the town of Plattsburgh also to allow us to get about 15 more thousand gallons a day from them because we get our water from them. So they would have to pass a resolution and we would have to sign a contract with them to allow to even get the water up there. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that has to happen with that, like everything in government. But we're very close to an MOU is a memorandum of understanding. Okay? So we're close to that. All right. So as long as we're still back and forth, I don't want to get into the specifics. Those are the general outlines of it. But it's something that I've been working on for quite a while now. I know you know I've been working on it for 3 years. I've been here just about. Okay. Good news. We applied for a CDBG grant, the town of Schuyler Falls, for a housing rehabilitation program. I just got word, although I do not have the signed, the documents from DocuSign yet. They haven't sent that to me yet. But I do have this. So it looks like we did get that grant. On behalf of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation, HTFC, and the Office of Community Renewal, OCR, it is my pleasure to inform you that the application submitted as part of the 2022 New York State Community Development Block Grant CDBG housing round has been selected for a $250,000 award, so $250,000. OCR has reviewed more than 10 I can't read now. OCR has awarded more than $10 million as part of the CDBG funding round for a variety of projects that address local affordable housing needs. These investments in home ownership opportunities and home rehabilitation programs will contribute to community revitalization and improve quality of life for the working families of New York State. A grant agreement will be transmitted separately for this award. Please be advised that no work can be performed nor any cost committed or incurred prior to the execution of the grant agreement with HTFC and approval of all required environmental review records and materials. HTFC reserves the right to rescind an award and deobligate funds for projects unable to satisfy all requirements. OCR program staff will contact you to outline the procedures necessary to advance the project. Should you have any questions in the interim, please contact the Office of Community Renewal at their number, 518-474-2057. So that is good news for some of the residents in our town that really do need help. Oh, it just made me a whole bunch of work. CDBG is probably the most records intensive out of all. I won't bore you with this whole letter, but I'll give you a breakdown, the first little bit of it. Potential sponsor. The governor's 5-year capital program continues the Bridge New York program at least increased funding level of $200 million per year. This letter announces the availability of funding and makes you aware of key aspects of Bridge New York program. The New York State Department of Transportation, New York State DOT is implementing the Bridge New York program through the existing capital program planning process, not the statewide solicitation used in recent years. This approach will continue to use many, but not all, of the elements of the prior Bridge New York program process. Eligible sponsors remain the same and include any city, county, town, village, or other political subdivision, including tribal nations, government authorized to receive and administer state and federal transportation funding. The program remains intended to focus on locally owned structures. This goes on and on and on into the project after. I'll get with you to see if any of this is applicable to us, okay? Annual review with PERMA is completed basically every 3 years with selective. They look at, which is our insurance, one of our insurances here. We have PERMA and selective. What happens is they go out to put it out to bid. So the review of both the insurances have been completed by me. When I talked to our local agent, he said we were up on our 3rd year this year. So he will be in the best interest of the town, soliciting for other quotes of other insurances. There's maybe 3 or 4 nationwide that do insure fire departments or towns. So, like I said, the list isn't long. So right now, as far as the information I received from him, it looks like the selective is pretty much right where everybody else will be. But again, we won't know until I get those quotes back. So that's part of making sure that we're not paying more than we should or shouldn't have to for our insurance. So that is being taken care of now. Received a letter from New York Rural Water Association. Greetings, New York Rural Water Association members. This is to advise that NYRWA announces membership due increases. At the request of NYRWA CEO, the NYRWA Board of Directors recently approved a 1% annual membership dues increase set to begin January 1st, 2023. And this letter goes on and on and on and on too. But basically that's what it will be, an extra 1% for cost for rural water. Which we are, all 3 districts right now are a part of. Charlie Communication. This letter will serve as a notice that on or around November 29, 2022, Spectrum Northeast LLC will launch Fox weather satellite feed to high definition on channels 160 and 217 on the channel lineup serving our community. To view a current Spectrum channel lineup, visit their website at www.spectrum.com/channels.
Town better got $2,500 for that.
Uh-huh.
I said the town better got $2,500 for that plug.
Alright, I think that is it there. Okay, that's all I got for those. Alright, monthly reports, that brings us to monthly reports. Can I get entertain a motion to file the monthly reports?
Motion?
Mr.
Discussion.
Sure,
Please.
go ahead.
Um,
Can we get a motion on both before we
Sure,
go discussing?
okay, second, sorry, all right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, regarding, was there a report in there from code enforcement?
No, code enforcement unfortunately is still, I heard, pretty sick. So, he was not able to give me a monthly report. Actually, we're back. Again, his reports are always a month behind. Because he finishes up the previous month and that's when we get him.
Okay,
But he still is very ill, okay?
okay.
Alright. Can I
Roll
get a
call.
roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Sorry, just making my notes. Alright, receipts. Town clerk, $802. Mason Lane Water, $659.98. Morrisonville Water, $4,100. Woods Mills Water, $1,345.15. Justice Barber, $1,714. Justice Van Ortweg, $1,173. Cash receipts, $8.03, and that was a return of the remainder of a papers being served on an individual for codes. And they ask for a certain amount up front. What they don't use, they give you back. So can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Mr. Facto, seconded by Mr. Newton. Roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Alright, minutes of the planning board, zoning board, I have none. Department reports, Councilman?
One of the things I would like to see is find out, do we need a couple work bees to get some stuff ready for the festival and everything, or?
I wish him well. I'll have to give him a
Yep.
call later.
Couple work bees?
What's that?
Do you want a couple work bees to try to get a couple, things ready for the,
The December 4th?
December 4th and everything?
Yeah,
like that?
yesterday,
Yeah.
I was down here from 9:30 to 4:30 PM. I got the Christmas tree done, thank you.
I saw you.
I even enlisted some help from my son-in-law to be.
Well, I didn't know who else you
Yeah,
were with. I just
yeah.
saw. I was like, "There's Kevin putting the lights up." Yes, they're gonna do the Christmas festival again.
Yeah, it was well received last year, and so we plan on hopefully making that an annual event here. So we got that one done, and then we went down to River Street and got the gazebo lit. Unfortunately, there were over 7 strands, even though they were all brand new last year. 7 strands on this tree that I had to run down and replace, and we're gonna have to replace some down at the fence for the ice skating rink, because there are about 10 of them that are I don't get it, they're only a year old. But anyways, I plan on finishing that up today down there. As long as I got the machine. I got the machine out there until
I should have done it on the weekend when it was 70.
I couldn't get the machine. I agree with you. I asked to have it.
Long
done.
stick with a hook. That's how.
What's that?
When you're going to put the lights up, you get on your ladder and you have a long stick with a hook to put the lights up.
Reach in.
Oh, yeah, it's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
Or preferably when it's warm.
the top of the ground.
Yeah, but the problem is that tree's 60 foot tall.
Oh, never mind. Mine's only
It's
20.
that one.
Mine's only 20.
Yeah, our bucket truck won't even make it anymore. We used to.
It wouldn't work like that.
off of that. 2 guys.
Yeah. So, I do have that. I guess, why don't I go over that as long as you got
Yep.
anything else you wanna bring up with, before I go into that?
The only other thing is, I attended what is called a CART. It's a county animal response team, and got certified for that through the county. It's actually part of the state. It's a mandated, non-funded again, mandate from the state that every county will have a CART set up. One of the things that they are looking for, Red Cross is involved with it, as well as the Office of Emergency Services, is they are looking for places for, during emergencies, be able to house not only some animals, but they're also looking for, with the Red Cross, they're looking for places for people also, so. There was a form that I did not bring with me today. I will be going to another meeting Monday. I will bring that form in case there is someplace here that we could open up for some temporary housing for emergencies, such as floods, forest fires, anything like that. So,
I appreciate you going to that, and I knew you'd be the one to go as you operate, your horse farm. So, yeah,
Was the dog control officer notified on that?
as far as
What,
the
as far as
shelter.
him going to that?
I don't
Howard
know if
was-
he got notification on that. It was sent to board members to please see what they could do, and then to reach out to whom they wanted to in order to
Yeah.
get
Okay.
shelter. So he would definitely be a good resource for the board. But they wanted the towns to say whether or not they felt they could be part of that program.
Okay,
If we could shelter, it may not just be ours. It could be from
yeah.
or towns
Certainly.
in the area. So I appreciate you going to that. Now on the cart, that was set up for transportation purposes for.
Well, they're looking into everything. Simple example is, let's say, something's going on up by Miner's Farm, and they've gotta get all the horses and cows somewhere, so,
Okay.
and that's what they're looking for, is
Okay.
how to and where to.
See who would be available. Maybe we could contact some of the local agricultural people.
Yep.
I do, like I say, I do appreciate you looking into that and being able to go. That was on like a Saturday too, wasn't it?
Friday,
Friday?
well,
Can't
Saturday,
remember the
when
exact day.
certification's on Friday.
All right, just, I guess it's a good spot as any to plug that in, and then I'll go to you just because he brought it up, if you don't mind.
okay, go ahead, then I'll go.
Yeah.
With something else.
Okay, so, the second annual Schuyler Falls Townwide Holiday Festival will be Sunday, December 4th of 2022. 1 p.m. Schuyler Falls at 954 Route 22B, Northville Road, in front of the post office. That, again, that goes to Ryan's Masonry down there. 3 to 7 p.m. River Street Park off of Mason Street. 4:30 p.m. the tree lighting at the town hall. 4:45 p.m. lighted fire truck parade with Morrisville. And I think you were gonna
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
get a
the
hold of the
yeah,
group
back
that you
riders.
had as far as the side by sides and stuff. I will contact the sheriff's department to make sure that they're aware of the parade also. Just to give you a quick overview. 1 p.m. This is in the hamlet of Schuyler Falls. Family tree decorating. Bring your ornaments and connect with your neighbors. Light refreshments, compliments of Ryan's Masonry. 3 to 7 p.m. River Street, Morrisonville. River Street Park in Morrisonville. Horse-drawn wagon rides, DJ music and caroling, family and kids activities, decorations, stories, games, trail walks, light refreshments. Continues roughly around 7 at the lighted gazebo. 4:30 p.m. Holiday tree lighting. This will be at the town hall right here in front at 997 Mason Street. All welcome for the countdown like we did before, and we'll do a couple carols here. Right after the tree lighting at 4:40, the lighted fire truck parade will be on the move. It will go down Mason Street Hill, passing the town hall, left on Emery Street onto Route 22B at the post office, right onto Mason Street again, and then left onto River Street down to Ladue Street. And the trucks will pause there momentarily for a while so that any of the kids want to go over and look at the lighted fire trucks. They had a good time looking at them last year. 5 p.m. a special visitor, Santa Claus will be there. He will be arriving and he will join for more family fun and festivity. So that's pretty much the overview. And I want to thank Barb for all the help with setting that up again. We've been conversing back and forth on it a couple of weeks now, and yeah, I'll throw something out there as far as a work deed, so that we can get the rest of the stuff figured out on when we're going to bring it down there and have it all set up.
Hey Kevin, I've got a sheet here for volunteer participation, because on that day we'll need help. Additional help is always welcome.
Absolutely.
For either serving the cookies, donuts, etc. that Stewart's has provided, the drinks, and also kids' activities. We've got a cornhole set up, and depending on the weather, we can't really tell yet. But if anybody has some great things for kids to do, we have crafts and all. I know Heather, I'm glad you're here, because I was going to ask you. Because we had a concern about the glue freezing
I know,
last year.
I know, we talked about that.
So, so I've got a variety of things, but, people can let me know if there's any questions or concerns or thoughts. So there's flyers here for people.
Have we got a special guest lined up for this year?
I'm sorry?
Have we got a special guest lined up for this year?
That's on Kevin's.
Yeah, taking care of that.
Okay. So
One way or the other.
But we would like, I didn't even ask you, reader for the kids and stuff.
What time?
Oh, I don't know.
I would say,
Just before 5 or something?
yeah, that way, because you usually come up and help me with the tree lighting, and we can get back down there and get that done. That sounds good. Yes,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I'm, first of all, I'm glad Mike MD is here. Mike, do you have anything you want to say about the training session in Lake Placid that you went to that day? He's new on the zoning board. His first meeting is Monday night. So, thanks for coming, Mike.
That agenda should be posted too. I got it
Actually,
positive.
Kevin, the agenda is up.
Yeah, I got
Yep.
the email on that one too.
Okay, so now, in a case like that, whose responsibility was that? Was it the secretary for the zoning who would take care of that?
What
Would you
happens
say,
is
or-
they bring it down to me,
Oh,
and
they
I
go
still
through
end
you
up
and then
going
up.
through the same.
Okay,
And that holds true for the planning board.
sure.
Because they have to give a copy of the agenda to the town clerk, so when they're down here, they usually give it to me to post to the website. Alright.
Okay, and regarding the zoning board and planning board, certainly all dedicated appointees in those, but they're appointed for a year at a time. And, or no, the members aren't, but the chairmen are. The chairmen are. And I'm wondering maybe this year, when January comes up, if we could switch around and change some of the chairmen out and put the deputy chairman up just to make it a little bit easier for them in case someone is absent. Is that a possibility that the board would
Are you talking
consider?
about the alternates versus
No,
the
I'm
regular?
talking about the chairman. Chairman of the planning board.
Yeah.
Chairman of the zoning board.
Yeah,
And they are appointed for 1-year terms by the town board.
right.
And that's what I was wondering if I could ask the board to consider that.
Yeah, normally what we do
For
is
23.
I try to stay neutral in either one of those areas because those are totally independent. boards,
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we usually take the recommendations from either the ZBA board or the planning board on who they would like as chairman for those. I haven't heard them express to me personally, I don't know, maybe they have to you, and I'm just not aware of it, that they would like to switch who their chairs or vice chairs are. Mr. McCaslin is the chair of the planning board, and Mr. Frank Dorrance is
Sure.
the chair of the ZBA board. Usually they would bring something to me saying, hey, I no longer want to be chair of the board, or the board would bring a recommendation. I haven't heard anything from them. I can reach out to them. I'm sure that, I think one of them's having their organizational meeting this month, correct?
Monday,
Yeah.
I believe.
So, we may hear something then, but, they're totally independent boards, and I usually don't get involved with trying to switch out and tell them who the chair is gonna be. We usually, hate to use that phrase, but kinda rubber stamp what they would like to do, unless we find that there's a concern somewhere.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Sam, I'm glad you're here because I've got a question regarding the Leary situation. Are they done now with their project?
No.
With Leary and, because the date on this,
To the best of my knowledge, they're not, because they haven't contacted me, and they were supposed to contact me when they were ready to do the work.
yeah,
As far as I knew, the last I'd been involved with that, having spoken, they were quite busy, and they had a long term of jobs that they had to get completed, because our stuff wasn't expected in, it came early. So they had booked other things to get done at that point, so it's not done at this point, as far as I know, because they haven't contacted me.
yeah. Because this, I'm looking at a copy of a check, $60,000, an insurance claim. The date on it is August 30th of 21. So I think someone should reach out to them to get moving forward on this project, because this is going on. I believe that they've already received half of these funds. So, my God, I would think with that time frame, something positive, they should be able to have a timetable when they're gonna be doing this. On that, have you heard from
The
them?
last I was told was that they were going to do it as soon as they were done the projects that they already had in force, that they were doing.
Yeah, and I reached out to him also when I got the emails, and he was surprised and asterisk that they weren't supposed to get the materials till at least October or the end of October. So they hadn't even slighted or scheduled the work. You have to remember also that everything is backed up because of the 2.5 years of COVID, and they couldn't even get the supplies, much less get help hired. Most employees are having problems getting help hired. So I understand that he had his workers set up with jobs already through the fall. He was hoping he would get to it, but like he said, we have to schedule you and then come out and do the work, which is going to, you know as well as I do, it's 2 parks, and it's pretty extensive. And he's also working with a gentleman from Miracle, is it Miracle Equipment?
Yes.
Miracle Equipment, who is going to come out and make sure, I mean, the guy works right for that company, okay? And to
Bob
make
Pittinelli.
sure, huh?
Bob Pittinelli.
Thank you.
from there going.
To make sure that the amenities are set up and erected correctly, because he found a couple things that he didn't like the way that they were put together last time. And he said that there's certain things that need to be done. And he volunteered his time as part of it to come out and make sure. So I know there's a couple different scheduling things there that have to take place. And I don't know if they'll still have time to do it this time of the year or not, or if it'll be in the spring. But yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it, and so has. Thanks for the reminder, though.
And
If that answers your question.
okay. And my next item, I was hoping Bill LeCount would have been here, and I've got several calls into him regarding this. I'm getting calls on not only the Rixon Avenue situation, but I'm getting calls on property at number 460 Salmon River Road. It seems to be an abandoned building. I drove by there the other day, and the front door was wide open, and the neighbors over on Carter Court are very concerned with that situation over there. And the other one, I keep getting these calls being on that committee on codes. The situation on Flat Rock Road where they had that burned out home, a couple of weeks ago, I believe, when that happened. And some of the neighbors are wondering what's on top here for the cleanup. It was a mess before, even more of a situation at this point. So I guess the owners are in Vermont, Mr. LeCount had said. Anyway.
Well, you noted 3 properties there. If you're
Yeah.
talking about the one on the Flat Rock Road,
Yes.
they are in Vermont, which was
Right.
part of this 803 return on the
Right.
paper served on that.
Okay.
So those things are being
Yeah,
looked at.
the one on Salmon
Um,
River Road, the owners from Vermont as well
Yeah.
on that situation.
Again, the fire that you mentioned on the Flat Rock Road, I am aware. I went up and took a look at it the other day. After I got a phone call from a concerned resident that even tin from the roof had blown across the road. It could have actually hit a car. Right?
Oh, very possible.
So
For sure.
it didn't, but it's still on the wrong side of the road now. So unfortunately, like I said, our codes guy has been sick for over a week now,
I see.
and
Okay.
I will reach out to him again because they do have shared services between the town of Plattsburgh and us,
I
and
see.
even Peru if needed. Although they're kind of stressed out right now trying to get their work done too. But I will reach out to him again and let him know that if he could get a hold of somebody from town of Plattsburgh
Yeah.
just to get the ball rolling. I've let them know that we are aware of those
Yeah.
issues and they're being worked on.
And Kevin, my final item is regarding ARPA funds.
Mhm.
Now, we have $521,000 in ARPA.
Yeah,
And
minus what
we-
we've spent already.
Yeah, and we've got a major project coming up on Macy Lane that's gonna turn into probably more of a project. I know the estimate originally was going out 130,000, but I really have an idea that might be a lot more than that situation. But that's ready to go. The board has already approved it all. It's ready to go. They're just waiting on it. I don't believe the final plans on that have ever been drawn up as of yet, but hopefully, what would you think, in '23, maybe the people on Macy Lane can expect something?
No,
to go?
actually, I just got the draft from LaBerge of the final plans
Yeah.
for Macy Lane. Called me maybe 2 days ago. So the next work session, they would like us to review those plans as a board to make sure that we don't want any changes or whether we're happy with what the draft of the final plan. So that I would believe could start the beginning of 23, in the spring of 23.
Okay, that'd be great for those people.
Yeah.
And my last item regarding ARPA is the project on Rixon Avenue. And I'm concerned with it because that project, actually, I think I'm the one that started bringing up the water situation on Rixon over 3 years ago when there was a PFOA problem. And like it's been confirmed, one of the 4 still has that. It's a pretty serious deal. And the other 3 have got bad water tests, bacteriological problems. So anyway, and we've worked on that 3 years ago of getting public water down Rixon Avenue. So I'm looking at the plans, the proposed plans. And what I'm troubled with is that the plans, as being drawn up by LaBerge Engineering, all of a sudden we went from providing water for 4 homes. Now, all of a sudden, the plans are to go over on private property and to service a 7 or 8 acre parcel of a private developer. And what that does, and I've studied this plan, what it does, it increases the diameter of the water line, thereby practically triples the cost of the project. And the thing is, I know we've got a lot of ARPA money, but still I think we should try to be conservative with spending it because we can use it on different projects around town. And we have until the end of 2024 to do it. And so that's really, being on the water committee, I really feel that way because that's exactly what they want to do. And I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. Now, if that private property, the developer over there, wants to join in, and if that developer wants to pay for the mapping, the survey, the deeds, the legal fees, everything else that goes along with it, and if he wants, a developer, if he wants to increase that water main from 4-inch to 8-inch, if he wants to pay the town the difference, sure, hook in. But we need a contract with this person. I'm not against that. I am against spending ARPA funds on private property. That's really, those people need public water. I'm all for this. It's been ongoing. And when I had written the letter to the county health department asking that anyone with a PFOA situation could be added on to the weekly water delivery like we have on the Sand Road right now. If they could simply just add that name on, so the one with the PFOA, we're sure they're getting good water. And this situation is ongoing. We have just paid on an invoice, and LaBerge Engineering has got a contract on this. Their contract clearly says $14,500 plus costs. And their contract is for Rixon Avenue only. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting back and they prepared another big map, and my name's on the front of it, of course, with everyone else. And I'm opposed to it. And the night they submitted a bill, I voted no on it. And now is a good time for us to intervene because according to the contract right here with ARPA, the town board is responsible for spending any of that ARPA money, any of it. So that is my frustration and concern. That's all. And just speaking of Rixon Avenue, they're saying they're going to develop, they're saying the reason why they want that big of a line is because they want to put fire hydrants down there, where there's already 2 fire hydrants on Mason Street right near there. And the cost of a new fire hydrant, 2 of them they want to put on there, for a 650-foot line, and it's all building the expense up. And it's gotta be stopped, we've gotta meet with LaBerge, we have gotta take this contract, and if they have billed us already for any of that work to do with a private developer, all they've gotta do, LaBerge, adjust your bill back, put it on one of the other projects you have going in the town. I'm not blaming LaBerge, it's work. And that's it. And the thing is, those other building lots down there, the future building lots they're trying to say, they're only 100 feet by 100 feet. They're not big enough to ever put a home on. And it's simply, in that way, we're wasting ARPA money. And that's really what's going on. And I'm on the water committee, and I'm obliged to bring this up. I'm just trying to do my job on it. It's not fun, but that's it. And in terms of Rixon Avenue, and you've got this junk all over the place down there, I'm not sure how they're gonna be putting water lines in when you've got a junkyard down there. So, I'm sitting here for the 4 residents who live on that street. That's all. And thank you. Thank you. That's it.
All right, we've been up there a couple different times, Mr. Baxter, we've got
Yeah.
the business owner to clean that up. And I specifically have told him that we can't do anything with the water up there until it is.
Sure.
Because you can't move up there, so that'll have to be addressed. We always try to do it amicably first, but if we need to go through
Right,
and file
of course,
paperwork,
of
that's a different thing. As far as, the water line up there, I believe that diameter has never changed. For fire flow, the minimum that you can have is an 8-inch main. And that has never changed from the beginning of the plans of there.
Right.
So
But-
I'm not quite sure why you come up with the information that the size of the line has changed. The hydrants are important and now part.
I understand, Kevin.
Okay.
I understand that.
And hydrants are important to all new water lines, not only for fire flow, so that they have fire protection. You're right, there's a hydrant up there on the end, and there's one about midway. But you're still looking at probably 5 to 6, maybe 7,000 feet of 5-inch that would have to be dropped by a fire department truck to get this. And there's a pretty good sized business back there. So, again, that's why, two of the reasons why you normally keep a fire hydrant. They are expensive, with any new water system that you put in to bring it up to normal codes of today. The other thing that they use those hydrants for, and why they put them on the end of those lines, were for flushing. Okay, because that's how they flush the lines out, so that they're not going to be a deadhead otherwise, and that way they can keep the pipes, if you will, flushed. And they also do testing at the end of the line, so that they can test that particular line to make sure that it meets the health standards. Because otherwise, if we do it at the beginning of the road, all it's doing is testing the main. It's
Yeah.
not testing the end. It's
Sure.
the same as Macy Lane at the end.
Right,
where
I'm
they-
very familiar with
Yeah.
these names.
So, those are, like I said, just to try to answer some of those questions for you.
But apparently someone told the engineering firm to start consulting with a private contractor on this project.
Well, from the beginning, okay, first of all, he may operate a business. I have no knowledge that he is a developer or developing that area up there, okay, or has plans to develop in that area. There was from the beginning, from our conversations right through the beginning, that there was talk of in-kind service work that he would be willing to provide to make sure that the 3 residential homes up there that they live in also have water. And it only made good sense at that time if we were getting water to the 4 or with a business or 5 or 7 lots, depending on size and what they could do with them, to include the other 3. They're still residents and taxpayers of the town.
Well, of course they are. However, on Trombley Way, and I've got the map of it here, there's already a water connection right at the end of their proposed entrance. So why would they want to go onto town property and then cross over on private property? We're going to be putting, if this goes forward, we're putting a water main on private property. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, well,
If they
this is
want
a-
to put water on their property, go out to Mason Street and connect on to the water main, which there is a connection there, according to this map. There's a connection there already.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that anybody, we could tell the same people on Rickson Ave to do the same thing. If you want water, then run a water line all the way out to the main. Okay?
Well,
The-
no, not at all, because we've done an income survey for those people, and they're eligible. They are in the lower,
They were not in the water district. We did not do.
I know they're not in the water district.
We did not include them in the income survey.
Well, there
Only
was
the
an
Morse,
income survey done on Rixon Avenue.
there was an income survey done for the Morseville Water District. And if somebody went up there and added them in, which they wouldn't, because I know that Liz Tedford was in charge of
I've
that,
spoken to her
And-
many times.
and she had the addresses of who the
Yeah.
people that were in the water district, and they are clearly not in the water district at this time. They would have to be added into the water
Oh, I know,
district.
Kevin, I know.
But like I said,
But
you know.
the whole thing, the whole idea, getting back to the basic idea, is why are we using ARPA money to do that on private property? We can't do that.
Reggie, everything is private property. I don't care where you live or where the water line is. The water lines all go through private property. There isn't an easement or a right of way for the utilities that go through their property alongside the road. So I don't understand where you're going with that, because
Well-
all of our water lines, other than that, are actually on property that is owned by the town, are individual in nature and owned by that resident. Your theory would mean that we wouldn't be able to put a water line down anywhere if we had to buy.
That's not my
the
point
property.
at all. And
So-
I'm asking that project
Yep,
be
we
put
can
on
discuss
hold.
that at a work session, because it is almost 11:30. If you're good with that, we can bring that up like you say and talk about it. at
Okay,
the work
when
session.
is the next work session?
Well, we have 2 scheduled, and we'll get to those if we ever get done this meeting. I have the dates. You want me to give them to you now?
I'll have them, it's all right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, that's Councilman. Mike, finally, you got anything going on other than I hope that you,
Well, I'd like to
At the
thank
end
you
of this
guys for working
meeting.
really hard to get this special meeting, for sure. I thought I had the man coming. I'll know more in another half hour, I hope.
Yeah.
So I appreciated the call and all your hard work to organize it. As you can see, we've been out plowing and sanding. We finally got the salt and sand up halfway decent. You know, we're ready for winter. Yeah, so
yeah, I know you and I worked for about 2 weeks to try to get this new hire done in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
And that's why we did all the paperwork ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
So that he would be ready to
Sure.
go after the
for
resolution.
sure.
I felt bad after he had already put a resignation into his other job, and we told him that we would hire him the next day, and that didn't happen. And that's the problem, is that it affects, this happened, that they did not have a meeting that night affected adversely somebody that was innocent in the whole thing. And,
Kind of beating a dead horse, aren't you?
Yeah. No,
Please, I'm just,
all I was doing is
I'm
just,
just
just thanking
explaining.
everybody for,
why
No, no,
he's-
you're not doing, he's not talking to you.
no, I know, but that's all I didn't wanna beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that you
Oh,
reorganized it to,
And that you need the help.
Did you have many applicants, Mike?
no, just
For
that
the
one
position?
again.
There are two that are out there in the wings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
They're,
are completed.
they're dead horses now. That other
One,
one.
okay.
You have one opening now for
Yeah.
a truck driver though, still.
Yes.
Anyhow, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So this is, you got a mechanic then coming in?
He's
Yes.
both, yeah,
He's
he's,
gonna
he
be- he's gonna
worked
be-
for Clark's for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be,
And, he has a Class A CDL. He can actually
Oh, that's
do,
good. Yeah.
he can actually do transportation where
yeah.
the Class B's can't, so, you know, he can run truck doubles and triples down the road. So he comes,
Yeah.
be an asset all the way around. We'll get to his boat after. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you too.
Yep. Anything in the water other than what we
Yeah, I
did?
think you covered it.
Okay. Safety and codes is not here. He is ill. Town clerk?
Just that the annual budget was given to all your councilmen, and there are extra copies if anybody wants them.
Okay, thank you. I've got nothing from the assessor this time. Planning board didn't meet. Dog control has got his report. We do not have the attorney tonight. I'll let the historian say whatever if she has anything. Okay. All right, supervisor. All right, work continues on the prospect of, again, a new website manager. We are looking to ensure that the town website is functional and existing issues are corrected by year's end. I did look up that contract. We're contracted with him until about February, unless we do something to remove him. Again, I kind of alluded to this under the PERMA one. Selective insurance, we have completed the annual review. Our local agent is putting coverage out to bid. This is completed every 3 years to ensure that our rates are competitive in the insurance industry. We have approved the town budget for the year 2023, other than added money to be placed into the budget for improvement projects. The general and highway budgets are under the 2% tax cap. The general remained at 30 cents per thousand, and the highway had a modest increase from $2.81 per thousand to $2.91 per thousand. So, like I said, other than the capital improvement projects, it would have been underneath the 2%, and those monies are already in our account down here, so that will not cost the taxpayer anything extra. Update on Rixham Ave. Well, I guess we've already talked about that, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. There is one resident up there that will be getting a point of entry system. They are considered a short-term solution, and it would be taken back out if we get the water line put in there, the public water line. And that's from Mr. Davies, down in the health department. I just covered a second annual holiday festival, so I am not going to put you through that again. But I just want to say that last year it was widely attended. Everybody had that attended seemed to have a good time. They wanted to know if we were going to do it again this year. It's a ton of work. We'll try to make everything is at least as good as last year's, and we'll try to again make that an annual event continuing in the future. Alright, so unless anybody has any unfinished business or new business, I'll go right to resolutions. So resolutions today are 2293 through 2298. Okay, resolution 2293. A motion by be it resolved that the town board acknowledges that the 2022 total re-levy water bills in the amount of $12,982.89 for the Morsel Water District, $7,172.53 for the Woods Mills Water District, and $1,528.94 for the Macy Lane Water District be set to the county for collection in the 2023 land taxes. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Newton,
Second.
Mr. Facto, any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Newton,
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So approved. Resolution 22 dash 94. Motion be resolved that the town board of the town of Scholar Falls reappoints Philip Van Bargen, to the Board of Assessment Review, appointment effective immediately and to expire on September 30th of 2027. Could I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Newton,
Second.
Mr. Facto, any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So approved. Resolution 22-95. Motion be it resolved that the town board of the town of Scholar Falls appoints Maurice Minor to fill the unexpired term of Roland Dajan on the Board of Assessment Review. Appointment effective immediately and to expire on September 30th of 2025. Could I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Newman? I'll second it. This is
Yeah,
being...
discussion on that. Is
Yeah.
there a list of people who want to serve on various committees? Like if someone writes you an email, you create a list of a person who might want to be on the Board of Assessment Review or Planning Board or Zoning Board or any boards?
Okay, so I did have a list for the ZBA. There were 2 individuals that we actually did put on there.
Sure.
Those were, I think we missed one name though, that somehow slipped through, because there was no openings at the time, and they didn't get put on the newer list. I'll apologize to that person, because I had no idea. It goes back a few years when they
Sure.
had, requested to be on it. But yeah, right now I have no active list of anybody that's contacted me on any of the boards to answer your question. Not at this time.
Can I add something, Kevin?
Sure, go ahead.
This appointments for the Board of Assessment Review are usually recommended by the assessor. And this Mr. Minor, he likes to have them in different areas, you know, for the 5 members.
Sure.
Mr. Minor is Jerome Minor's son
Sure, I know.
and would be honored to be on this, to take over
Okay.
his father's position.
Sure.
See the trooper?
No.
Oh, good.
So again, yeah, they do break them up in the districts, and he's very well
I
aware
didn't
by
really
his.
know that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that way they're more represented by the people that are in their area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we try to make it as fair as we can. Did that answer? Or you have
Sure,
any more
it
questions?
did. I'm all set.
Roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. That is approved. 22-96. Motion be whereas Michael Snyder, Highway Superintendent, has a position at the Highway Garage for MEO/mechanic, and whereas applications were submitted and candidates were interviewed by Mr. Snyder, be it hereby resolved that the town of Scholar Falls acknowledges and approves the hiring of Sean LaPlante for the position with a starting salary of 20. Is that correct?
Mary said it was, yeah.
Should be.
Okay. I know we got the new contract, right? I know they start at $1 less an hour. If there's any changes, we'll let the public know, alright? At a starting salary of $21.74 an hour. Need a motion,
Motion.
Mr. Facto
Second.
and Mr. Newton. Any discussion?
What will be the new starting date?
Monday.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Monday, once I call Mary, as soon as I leave here.
Okay, so we'd be looking at a starting date now of the 11/20.
It's, whatever
Well,
Monday is.
yeah,
6
because-
o'clock Monday morning.
she just asked, it's because it's the state
Saturday.
retirement and everything else, that the date has to be the date he's hired.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and that's another thing.
so then his actual date would be the 19th then.
Today's the 19th.
Yep.
His
21st.
appointment, his
No.
appointment
21st.
date will
Monday
be
morning.
today,
21st
but
is Monday, yeah.
Monday
Should be
will
Monday
be
morning, yeah.
when
Okay,
his date will be.
so that would be his actual hire date is the 21st.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Newton?
Yes,
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes.
final one,
Yeah. Keep plugging away at it. 2297. Motion be resolved that the town board of the town of Schuyler Falls authorize the hiring of Curtin Archaeological Consulting Incorporated to undertake phase 1A and phase 1B of the proposed Morrisville Water District.
Project, we should add project after that, I
Yeah.
forgot that.
Project. The first phase of that would be $2,480. The second 1B would be $2,880. This would be a direct hire from the town. That way, the Burge doesn't have to get 20% by being the middle person. This is needed, one of the many things that are needed to try to get the project put out to bid to make sure it is feasible. If we don't continue with the project, it will die. So that's pretty much what this is. Do I have a motion from somebody?
motion.
Mr. Newton? And I'll second it.
Discussion.
Yes.
This archaeological report, this firm, once again, this firm is out of the Albany, New York area.
Mhm.
And my concern is this. Couldn't we, I mean, for a $5,000, over $5,000 situation, couldn't we contact firms in Clinton, Essex, Franklin County to get estimates on this archaeological study?
Well, these archaeological studies can go up into hundreds of thousands, okay? So basically what they do is they take a preliminary look at them and see whether they can see anything on the surface that would be substantial before they even put in a bid on it, okay? I don't know of anybody locally. This comes out of the state, at the state level, that we are required to make sure that prior to the project approval, that we're not going to come into any Native American, sites or things like that happened with the city of or the town of Plattsburgh, like down where the old airport was, where they found the encampment down there, which held that project about for years. There's several multiple alphabet names of the historical state preservation that get involved with this. This is pretty minimal as far as cost. I don't know of anybody locally that does this, to answer your question.
What, where would this fund be drawn out of, this particular expense? Would it be out of the Morrisonville Water District
Yep,
funds?
yep. It'd be on either on allocated funds,
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like not supporting it, but you know what? There's only three of us, so, this is a time I'll back off and go ahead, do it.
Well, we gotta vote first.
No, no, we gotta vote first.
Just a quick comment from the
Yeah.
historical perspective, I mean, I did look at this area as well, but I have no certifications or anything.
Sure.
I've recently looked at a list of consultants for a variety of different areas, not specifically for archaeological, but across the whole country in terms of, there are not very many of these people, certainly not up here, there's not really a need for somebody to be up here, so to get somebody out of Albany, I think is fairly reasonable.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my only input, again, not having looked for that in my list of consultants out of one of the, conservation consulting books. I can do that.
I don't know, I would ask her, but I know that she's involved
Yeah, I
in
know,
some of the
you-
stuff, but
I
I don't
wrote
wanna
up
put her on the
something good,
spot.
but
yeah.
it doesn't count.
But to the best of my information, this is very reasonable,
Absolutely.
and it is, probably one of the closest ones that we could use. I don't know of anybody locally, to answer your question.
What particular location within the water district are they gonna be doing?
They'll take the whole, remember the maps and the whole thing that we
Yeah.
have for the Marshall Water
Oh, so
District?
various
They-
spots all
No,
around,
the
huh?
whole, they
Oh, I
have to
see.
look at the whole thing and make sure that wherever the lines are going,
Yeah,
that we put a shovel in the ground, that we're not going to
Right.
disturb something that we shouldn't be disturbing.
see,
And it makes, even though it's a pain to go through all this regulation, it really does help, because if you're halfway through a project and all of a sudden you uncover something that you didn't know was there, it could cost a lot more to the project in the long run than looking up ahead of time.
yeah, see, this would be something similar to, we'll probably end up doing this on Rixon Avenue as well. Right, by the time, I mean,
Yeah.
here we are, Rixon Avenue, location of a super fun cleanup site, and they're gonna be doing an archaeological study in there. So, that might be a more expensive one, wouldn't you think?
It's based more on
Yeah.
history than
Yeah.
it is based on what the ground is or what it's composed of. It's what's of archaeological importance in the ground.
And I'm assuming probably SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office.
That's one of the alphabet.
They
Thank you
have-
for
yeah,
reminding
so
me of
SHPO
that.
has
I
likely
didn't have
looked
it
at it,
written.
as they look at everything that's historical that's being done in the town for our other things, so, and they have lots of resources that they've gotten in the past, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your insight. I appreciate it. Right up your alley. All right, if there's no more, then I'll do a roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So approved. All right, 2298. Yeah, it is. All right, resolution 2298. Motion by, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Scholar Falls authorize the hiring of Tabor, Ryan, and Kearney Williams. Ryan Jr. would be actually the attorney that we're going to use for the proposed Morrisville Water District project. His hourly rate is $245 per hour. This is part of, again, completing all of the necessary paperwork to conform with the grants. Okay, we're just about out of time. If we don't get this stuff in now, there's no way that we'd be able to even put it out to bid to find out the feasibility of the project. So, again, this is to allow him to work on the project. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody. I don't know how else to tell you. But you're obligated to have an attorney for the project. It's just part of the whole grand scheme of things. So he has been willing, after I asked him, We've used him multiple times in the past for the town. He's very familiar with our water, and he's very familiar with this town in particular. So I think he would be the best one for it, and that's who I reached out to. So I don't know if there's any other discussion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Newman. And I'll second it. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, this one is bond counsel. This
No.
one
No, this is not
is,
the bond
is,
council.
well, I think within Clinton, Essex, or Franklin County, we'd get an attorney up here. Because last time around on this situation, we had to pay him to come from Albany, New York, up here. And these guys charge from the time they leave, the time they get back. So basically, I'm opposed to it. That's all. I've met him, I mean, he's been here, but the night that he came here, I didn't really think he had to be here, but I was outvoted on that. So think about it. Leave Albany, come up here for 10 minutes, do your work, go back. Good deal. But further, another thing I'm opposed to this on, this guy he's the same attorney, and it was brought before the board. He is affiliated with LaBerge Engineering. They do joint things together all the time. And that's another reason why I'm not gonna go for this situation.
Okay.
Thank you.
So.
I know I'll get blamed for it.
Now
so
I
go
have
ahead.
some discussion. Okay. Again, he is very familiar with our water district. He's very familiar with everything we've done in the town so far. Therefore, he would have to spend the least amount of time to catch up and understand the water district that he is working on, because he's very familiar with it. Secondly, he is not the bond counsel. The bond counsel that we used was Douglas Goodfriend.
Where is he at? Where is he located?
He's located out of New York City. Alright? The, there's not a heck of a lot of really, I hate to say that, I can't say good bond counsels, but there's certain ones that are highly recommended. I mean, he came highly recommended. The instance where you talked about Mr. Ryan coming up here was for the extension of the Morseville Water District, which we were trying to clean up and take care of after the water line was put up to Buckley Estates. Okay? I don't know, cart before the horse thing. He was asked to show up down here by the majority of this board. He did not come up here just to spend our money. He was needed, we felt, to answer the questions and to answer the questions of any of the residents that may show up that night to give his perspective of the project. And again, that was just the extension of the Marshall Water District, which we had already put up there. But that's all I get to say about that. So we'll let it roll where it is. And like I said, this is mandated by both the CDBG and the USDARD and the bond. So if we don't have it by the end of January, we're done. We're not going to have to worry about it anyways. Just so everybody's well aware of what happens with this project without a lawyer. Okay? And we're out of time.
Mr. Newton,
Yes.
Mr. Facto,
No.
Mr. Randall.
Okay, I'm voting yes. It did not approve. Therefore, we won't have to worry about the water project anymore. Alright, that's it. All I got.
So, point of clarification then, that would nullify the 2297 also,
Yep.
correct?
yeah, there's no sense of, spending the money on that other one because we had to have these things set up by the end of January. And it's not gonna happen. I don't know how we go back on that one.
Well, you could just rescind that resolution, but I don't know why you would. You're gonna have another meeting in
Well, of
December or
course.
January.
Do it then, that's right, no big deal.
I don't,
You could still put the resolution back on the table.
yeah, but in December, I don't think there will be enough time to
Okay.
have it completed.
So you're
by
gonna rescind the-
January. I can check with the two powers that be on, the CDBG and the USD ARD, but, they were pretty adamant if we didn't move forward with it, because we've been a whole year now, that they would take back the 1.3 million from USD ARD and the 2.5 million from, CDBG. If you want, I can look at it, but
You're the
this is
book
out,
outward.
this is out of my hands.
You want a motion?
I can check on it, but, I'm just telling you realistically, I don't think it'll work. You wanna wait?
Yeah, wait until we get clarification. That's my feeling.
Alright. That's the end of the resolution. Claims. General fund, $13,866.02. Highway, $19,073.62. Woods Mills Water, $2,927.81. Morrisville Water, $9,092.91. Macy Lane Water, $37,029.37. Lighting District, $1,888.03. The audit only claims are 2022013888 through 2022014555 and 20220145. Payroll claims 20220136 through 20220137. So can I get a motion to pay the claims?
Motion.
Mr. Facto,
Second.
by Mr. Newman. Roll call.
Question
Oh,
first.
go ahead.
Macy Lane being that high, what is it?
It's in your
I know, but
packet. I
it's,
don't really know. I
Okay.
don't
Uh,
know.
Bond,
oh, okay.
Oh,
bond
that's
payment.
right. That's what
Right.
it was changed.
24,
And that's why
25,000.
your invoices are out of order
Right.
because it came
Yeah,
back.
matter of
And
fact,
we'd
that's
be
enough.
really late if we didn't pay that, so she had to change all the abstract.
Yeah, it's gonna
That's
be
right,
late
I'm
now
sorry.
anyways, but. We're late paying the bills. Alright, did that answer everything?
That answers.
Alright.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Mr. Newton,
Yes.
Mr. Facto,
Yes.
Mr. Randall.
Yes. Alright, that brings us to public forum. Yes,
Your attorney that you were talking about just now for the water, I have another one that you can call that's closer. That deals with the same kind of thing. I'll give you his name and stuff.
yeah, if you
I've-
wanna give
I've
it to me
worked with him
after,
before.
it's just, the problem is that setting up, accounts and everything else, I do, really
Oh,
don't think
he's
it's gonna.
closer, he's out of the Lake George area, and he is
Well,
also,
Ryan's out of the Glens Falls area.
yeah, but he deals with it as the same, I'm not sure what he
Yeah,
would
yeah.
charge or anything, but I have another name of another firm that I could,
We can look into it, but I don't think we're gonna have time before 1st of January to get everything set up.
Yeah, but I'm more than willing to take your information if you wanna
Okay.
give it to me after the
I
meeting.
will,
Or just email it, that way I got it in writing, so
Yep,
that.
I can do that
contact
too.
it.
I have a couple other things I just wanted to bring up. The highway super is here. Last year I brought up the consideration of putting up a gate at the pit entrance. This fall, I have seen several vehicles go in and out of there in the evening on a Saturday or a Sunday. And they weren't going in there for sand or salt, they were going in there possibly hunting or dumping remains of animals. I don't know who they are, I see them going in and out. So, that's just one other thing.
Wasn't one of the town trucks like a
No,
pickup truck or something?
no, this is.
No, I know the Sam's
private
been
people-
hauling leaves in and out of there after he's picking up the cart.
That kind of a thing. Well, I'm not sure exactly, but if you're going in there at dawn, late in the evening, you're not going in there to
Dusk,
drop
yeah.
brush off
Right.
with all the hunting
No, I
and
just
everything.
wondered. That's all.
The other thing is this winter, I know last year I saw private sander go in there, private contractors, not sure where they're coming from, but they loaded up their sander on the back of their truck. You know, they come out 20 minutes later and then they're going and making money off of it. So that was my concern last year.
Is that not allowed? Because Peru does allow that.
And the thing is, the road, the town only has an easement to use it. So in other words, anyone
supposed to be on
in the
their own.
town shouldn't be going
Gotcha.
down there unless they have permission from the landowner.
So it's not using the sand, it's to drive it on the road. It's the issue. Okay.
And it's also taking sand out of there to use it privately as your own benefit.
Right,
You know,
that's
to
allowed
make
in a lot
money
of
off of
towns.
it.
That is allowed in a lot of towns.
We had discussed putting sand up at the highway garage for the public to go and get. So I would like to see some sand put up at the highway garage.
I used to do that. I don't know if Mike's got a spot up there right now. I don't know if we can do it.
No, I don't really like that idea because then we've already had to replace a couple wells in the area. Because it's
Oh,
salt.
from putting it just a small puddle, what if you put it on the corner of the pavement up there? You could put it on the field side.
Well,
You're supposed to have a shed.
Eventually, the town will have to have a shed over the salt
Right.
pile.
I agree with you.
that would
Inevitable.
be,
I
that
mean,
would
we
be,
have to do
that
something
would be
about it.
fantastic to begin with.
It's only been on for 21 years.
Even
don't
if we
really-
had
I
just
said
a
it's only been a law
small,
for
even if we
21
put a
years,
tarp or
that's all.
something over it for the public, especially
No.
with the icing and the elderly people, it would be only fair for all the public to have that right to use the sand.
One problem with leaving a pile low, done maintenance, you leave it out in the open, when you get melting, it freezes, so then you're up there with a shovel and
I
you
know.
can't dig it anyway.
I know.
I would love to, but, you know, it'd be just a wicked, I hate to say the word nuisance, but it would really be a nuisance
And possibly
out
liability.
there.
Well,
Somebody gets
and
hurt.
the other thing, you got people going down there and loading sand up and profiting off it, and I don't think that's right to the
I
taxpayers.
don't know anything about that.
I mean, I can take pictures of it, but I saw it last year, and I know
I
they'll be
don't,
back
I
in there
don't doubt
again.
it, I just don't know anything about it.
Your gate sounds like a terrific idea. Is there somebody on the board willing to?
I'm talking like a bar gate that sits up high that swings.
Yeah.
You know,
We
that sits
understand.
above the snow.
Right. I mean, is there anybody on the board that's willing to entertain the idea of putting up a gate at all?
It's good use of ARPA money.
Be
Yeah,
a great
that-
use
that-
for
it
our
was-
money.
It
Absolutely.
was highly discouraged
Can we
by
use that?
the.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
It was highly discouraged by the highway department when I discussed that with them, because they have to get out, open the thing.
So you don't like the idea of it?
Well, we can,
Go
I
ahead,
like, we can
yeah.
be, we can be
I mean,
reasonable
maybe
when we
remote.
talk about a gate,
You know what I
and we
mean?
can be
We got garage doors
reasonable
on remote
about
at
the
the garage.
hours that the gate
They
is
go
can
in
be,
and
open,
out.
they have to be solar.
okay?
Yeah, I can see where it's
There's no
inconvenience having to get out of your
utilities,
truck and open it.
You know?
That's a, yeah, it'd be a pain.
And not that I'm saying we're there anytime in the morning,
And
anytime
make
at
the
night.
solar one, the solar that would, you could push the
Perfect.
button. But mainly it would be on the
If the
weekends, or
general
when
fund
you're
up
not
in the
in there.
morning,
But the,
you know, we can
but
work from
we've
there.
always,
Reasonably speaking.
alright, so just one at a time, please, and gentlemen, please, one at a time. And, just generally speaking, okay? I believe it's been our town, policy that we've never discouraged any of the residents to go up there, with the ice storm or icing in the driveway and, the focus of health and safety issues, to go up and get a bucket of sand to, with salt in it, to sand their driveway. Like I said on the record last year, my driveways are like this. I even will go up there with a
Yeah,
couple of
but you
buckets.
can go down the road. Anyone who works for the town or
But-
is a town employee could use the road.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
That's not
we
fair to the
allow
rest that
it.
can't.
no, we've never told anybody they could not go down there.
I understand that, but
So I don't know,
this is why, when I brought the right of way, was very specific that it was for, not just for the town employees, that it would be for the public, for the community to use the road.
well, actually, you told me we should go out to the utility right away.
And utility would have been great.
And I tried that, and it was not
Ownership
going
would
to
have
happen.
been, ownership
I
would
tried
have
that
resolved
too.
all the
I can't
problems.
make this
I
guy
understand
sell
that.
land, and
I
I can't tell
understand
him
that.
what kind of an easement or lien that we can do either. I mean,
But
it's gotta be an
If
agreement.
it was the same thing that it was before, the easement was probably just rewritten with a new description of where the lines were.
So do
And
you
the
want all the
corners.
town residents to be able to go in there, or do you want a gate? Cause now I'm kinda confused.
Well, I would like a gate put up because it's not fair that people go in there and take advantage of it while others can't.
Those obeying the law aren't allowed to cross that. The people that don't.
Right, no, I understand that, but at first we were talking about advocation of allowing everybody to be in there, and not just the town employees.
That's what we.
Then we're talking about a
that's what-
gate.
That's what we had tried to get, but it didn't work like that.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, the landowner never complained about who has been on that driveway. As long as they were going down
I mean
there
something.
for a
Yeah.
specific
land.
reason of getting
Sure.
sand or salt and insult mixed to take care of that. If you were down there hunting on his land, then I'm sure he would
Or the
have an
town
issue
land.
with that, or the town land, yeah, without permission. Then, I'm sure that could be a contention. But, like I said, I don't see any other way around it.
Where does it say that?
I'm very apprehensive, as Mike has stated out, that if we were to put salt and sand up on even the tarmac there and it washed into somebody's nearby property or bordering property, especially if we contaminated their wells, that is a big liability for the town to take. So the only way that we could do that is if we had
What if we get a couple
container.
tubs
Yep, that's what I
or
was gonna
things
say.
and place them inside the highway garage, and then when the highway garage is open, you can go up inside and take a small bucket.
Yeah, but the highways garage is not always open like on a Saturday or
I
Friday or
understand that, but
Sunday
you
when
could
you
go to
may need
hours
it,
of operation.
so, you
You're
know.
not there usually, you're not there at the highway garage in hours of operation. right?
No, that's
And they're
something.
probably out and about, so that wouldn't
Yeah.
work either.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what has been doing, again, people have to take the responsibility for their own actions. And if they're going in there to, and I don't think it says anything on any signage, but, you know, about businesses going in there. But, I agree with you there that, again, you shouldn't be profiting from
You
what the
should be
taxpayers
using it
are
for
paying
your
for.
own home and your
But
own necessities.
There has to come some kind of, responsibility from the people going in and out of there to do the right thing. And I don't think I don't think you ever lost a ton of sand like, I could see if a dump truck was going in there taking some out.
It used to be, prior years.
Yeah.
We caught on to it because we were told that these dump trucks were going in there and actually bringing their own key to the loader. and doing
Right up.
Yeah.
We found out.
That we could
stopped it
probably-
Immediately.
Oh, yeah.
That we could probably prosecute if we found out what it was,
But you got a good point. I mean, when we are at the garage, if people happen to come in and they want a bucket, we got plenty right on the truck. We go out and we fill their bucket up for them.
Perfect.
Cause I don't ever wanna refuse anybody,
Right.
you
I'm just thinking
Where
about the
it's at.
older people, and with the prices of everything right now, it would be
yeah.
helpful
Well,
to the community.
if, I'm willing, get their names and their address and I'll bring them a 5-gallon bucket.
Okay.
I mean, I'm out and I'm up.
Okay,
And I'll do my best I can.
I can't,
It don't
All right.
matter to me where I go in the
Right.
town.
Mike, I don't believe that we're allowed utilize town equipment to bring it to private residents. I think that may be a contention if we started that practice.
Yeah, I know, it'd be massive.
The availability of material is one thing.
It's
The
under,
I think the
transportation,
best
wear and
thing
tear,
It's under
equipment,
gifted.
The best thing
gasoline.
you said is if somebody
we
needs
can't
it to
gift
come to the shop
they
and
need-
This
dip
isn't
the
hunger,
sand.
we're not talking about
Yeah,
hunger.
and I'll
That would be the
oblige them
best.
as quick as I can.
so I think
No.
that for now, the best thing that we could do is try to keep an eye on it, let me know, and the board know.
Make
If,
the landowner aware, make the landowner
Yeah.
aware through your status
website.
that, well, not necessarily, Kevin has the ability to reach out to the landowner and say, I've had a concerned citizen reach out to me, and then put the onus on the landowner. Make them aware of the possible theft, make it their priority to make it a priority. At that point, if the landowner is not seeing a trouble with it, right, it's his land, their land, excuse me, whomever, right? We have a right
I've
away,
never heard of any trouble.
right?
No.
But you see, I'm not saying pass the buck. What I'm saying is, if you make the landowner aware of something, then at that point, they ultimately have authority.
They're the decider,
They decide, rather than the
Yeah,
town
right.
dictating to a private
Then it takes it
landowner.
and burn it off.
Okay, which isn't gonna play well, but they're allowed to know that a concerned citizen came here today and spent 2+ hours of their time to bring this concern. That's all you gotta do. It's
Right,
just communication, guys. It's really simple. All this is communication. She waited over 2 hours to communicate. Now we have a responsibility to communicate that concern to somebody else. That's all
Yeah.
this is communication.
yeah, and again, like I said, I never have received a complaint from the landowner that somebody other than a town employee has gone down here. I can make them aware that we would
They don't
like to
care.
continue.
But I'm just, it's in general, that's all.
Okay, what about if we went out and got a couple cameras? They have them for hunting, that you can set up every time somebody goes through. It'll take a picture, even if it's a town truck, let it go through. Then if we find, okay, ABC's truck goes through, loads up with sand, goes out and starts making a profit off from it, you've got a picture of it. We don't have that right now.
That's a good idea, Howard.
I mean, we got a corner parking lot right over there. Can bring down 5, 6 tandem loads of salt and sand.
Or you could do that too.
Yeah,
It's
but
gonna be an
still,
awful, it's gonna be an awful mess.
if
You'll have a
we're,
mess here anyways in the
Yeah.
spring.
we're being told that
The
people are
parking
going
lot
in.
will be really busy.
we're being-
I'm just concerned about people going in there. The thing that really bothers me is that last year I saw a guy with one of those private sanders on the back. He went in, came out 20 minutes later, went out, did his business, and then he went back in there and got more.
And he
That's-
went in the
that
town
was
pit, he
my
didn't go in the-
concern.
He didn't go in the first pit to the left?
No.
Sure,
And
Mike,
the
maybe
other
that would work. We already have cameras here at
Yeah.
this place. So
You know,
maybe that would be workable. Do you think so?
It would have to be
I-
one that runs off batteries though, or solar.
Solar. Well, that's the
No, they all
trail,
run
the
the
trail
trail
cameras. If you got
It
two,
would have
one,
to be that, cause there's no power.
you
But
set
there's
up,
cameras here at this facility, outside.
Right, but
Already.
they run off power, correct? Yeah.
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 so if you got two and you set one up for a side view as people are going through the gates, and if there's any writing on the vehicle, you can see it, and if you set another one up where you can take the front picture, then you got a copy of the license plate.
Well, who owns the
Well,
property where you're putting these cameras up though? Cause you have an easement to use the road.
No,
Oh, the town
the
owns
town
it?
Yeah,
owns
you only have
The
these.
town owns the pit or the road where you're putting the cameras up?
No,
Town
the
owns
town
the pit.
owns the pit, they
But
don't
not
own the
not-
road.
So you
not
can't
the
really
road.
put cameras up without the landowner knowing?
Yeah.
We
No,
we
you
can
put
on
it
our own
on the town
property.
land.
Yeah, you can put it on town land. The pit
Oh,
itself.
town on
Put
the
the,
pit.
put the
Yeah,
camera
you
down
have
in
to
the
go
pit.
yeah.
through there,
Gotcha,
through
gotcha.
So
town
if
land
they
to
go
get-
through the town
The
entrance
entrance.
I thought
area,
you meant putting a camera
Yeah.
in it.
It's right there.
there'd be a picture.
That's a good idea.
I think it's a great
Good idea.
idea.
You probably would have to have something that says that this property
Is
is
monitored.
Is
Monitored by a
Puts on-
surveillance camera or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they make them on metal, you just put a post in the ground and you put it
You're
up
still
right
only
there, it
gonna-
goes through.
You're still only gonna need one camera, cause it'll take a picture, it's motion activated, so it's gonna take a picture on the way in, and as they exit, it will again take a picture. Somebody's gonna have to be required to make sure that it's maintained.
I got to go on every 2 weeks. And
It would also benefit if there's any kind of vandalism in the pit. You know, cause you never know.
I know, but we never
That
had
corner over
vandalism
there would
down
be
there.
the ideal spot.
That would be a
Bring
great
it down
thing
here,
to bring some
and then it's being watched
by
day and night
everybody.
right by
Yep.
residents.
Kind of a better location
It
as
is a
well.
better
The only
location.
problem-
Problem with that
Yep.
is you got a brook.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're gonna have,
yeah.
That
Uh,
brook is full of so much garbage from all the people
Yeah.
throwing stuff over
It
the
doesn't
bank, it's
matter if we
unbelievable.
put salted sand within
Can't
a
add
certain
any
amount
salt.
of waterway, DEC is gonna be on top of us about it.
well, they'll be monitoring it, and the first things they get, they will
Oh,
get
Yeah,
them.
yeah, once they see that.
I don't want it next to the creek either out here. And
No.
he has too much invested to contaminate the
So I
property.
guess your idea makes more sense than anything.
Yeah, if we're gonna spend money on a camera
I
for
think a camera
what
would-
we think we're losing, at least,
I mean, the camera's an asset, you can use it there, and you can use it someplace else if you had to later on, so it's not a throwaway, it's not a throwaway of money.
If we find we need a gate, we'll put a gate up. If we find don't need a gate, just leave it in there and let it keep monitoring, keep checking it.
yeah, the
I
camera
got a
might be-
trail cam down. I got a trail cam down there, so.
Sometimes you're better off letting people know.
And I have the other thing with the survey on Turner
You only
Park.
get 3 minutes. I'm just teasing you.
Stop it.
Can we rotate and come back?
These guys keep interrupting me, and we were talking about it. Anyways, the Turner Park, the survey that you had done up there.
Yep.
I drove by and as I had requested that you had lath and flags put at all the property corners so it was visible. I drove by and I noticed on the south end or the Peru end, it looks like there's an encroachment. Since you did pay for the survey, well, the taxpayers, we all paid for it, I'd like you to use it as the town's advantage. If this person, clearly, it looked like to me, had an encroachment with the garage, I think there should be a boundary line adjustment done to fit in the garage and make a deal with this person. If they wanna do that, then you could get money for the survey and to pay for the recording, and I'll be more than willing to come down and help with a description for the adjustment.
Right, and we had discussed that right
I
after
would
it
be
had
more
been
than
done.
willing to help.
Sure.
I'm serious on this.
No.
An attorney can take it and it can be done with. But the longer that it sits there
Right,
and nobody does anything, or you just have the guy remove his stuff. Because if you allow them to keep their stuff there, next thing you know, there could be a septic over the line or a leach over the line.
now, we've discussed this, and actually, there's a little bit more to it than that.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
I can't just gift a portion of town land.
It wouldn't be gifting, you would be
But
selling it.
it would be, because it has to be, my understanding of it is it has to be offered in the paper to all that, whatever you're going to sell, has to be offered to all the town.
But it wouldn't be selling, you're an adjustment. You're making a boundary line adjustment, it's not necessarily a sale.
How would anybody else be able to buy it? Wouldn't it be landlocked in between the town and this other guy?
No,
No.
no.
I think
It's
we'd
got
have to
road
deem it
frontage,
surplus property first.
But the other problem
can't.
is that the deed
No,
itself
wouldn't have.
is
Wouldn't be able to
very
do that.
restricted.
It sort of would be surplus.
No,
To us.
because Turner, going back a long time ago,
Oh,
Turner
yeah.
Park
Claude Turner.
was
He
given to
was
the
an
town
abstractor in Elizabethtown.
with the intention that the town would not get rid of any part of it.
Correct.
So, that's the problem we have right now, is we cannot move that boundary line.
Well, you
Because
wouldn't be
we're-
moving it, it's an adjustment. Boundary line adjustment. There's a different term legally for this.
If you can bring in the determination,
I've done it a few times
if
with
you can
towns.
bring us in the termination that you're talking
Yep.
about an adjustment compared to a moving of, I don't really see the difference, but if you can show us something in writing that says you can do an adjustment without making the boundary different and you still own the property, that would be something
But
to
it-
look at right
If we're
now.
gonna do that, like I said, we had looked at, and I had discussed
Yep.
both sides of it. The adjustment, if that's what it would be called,
Mhm.
to, where the daycare center is up there also, which
Yep.
that property is only useful to
To the daycare.
the daycare.
Right, but there's not a permanent structure that is an encroachment.
Right.
It's
So,
just
but-
toys and a fence, that's all movable, mowing is not an encroachment. You can mow on someone else's property, that's fine, I'm talking about a structure, like a garage.
So who built this garage? Did they get
Never
a
owned
building
it.
permit to put it up, or
It's been there.
is that a mystery?
Been there for a while, cause they probably,
I looked into it.
they didn't know where it was, and they could've came in through the zoning board or the planning board, they got it approved, unless you had a real survey, you wouldn't know.
Right.
Now, there's no permit for it, and I've had discussions with them, and that's what we're trying to do, was simply move it, but I ran into a brick wall, and God's honest with you, I'm working on a million other things that
I know.
have to be taken
It's just,
care
it
of.
was freshly done, and
Yeah.
I feel the town should
And-
keep the ball rolling
I
to
agree
resolve
with you.
the problem,
I
that's
agree
all.
with you.
Yep.
It needs to be taken care of, but it wasn't up
I
here,
understand it's not
on
top
what
priority.
I have to get done
I
right now.
understand that,
And I haven't forgot about it, and like I said, that was where I ran, the biggest thing I ran into the brick wall, just to reiterate, was the restrictedness of the deed, and that I was advised that you just can't give to one particular person, that it would have to be put out to the
right,
residents of the town.
cause
to
it
say
was
if
given
they
to the
were-
town, correct? The property by Claude?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
By Hazel,
And
By Hazel?
yeah, Mrs. Hazel.
I
What-
couldn't just
Somebody else.
say, okay,
Another Turner.
I'd like to sell it to you and only
Yeah,
you.
I mean, the Turner's
You can't do
family
that.
is huge, you know,
Huge,
so.
yes it is.
Plot has been done.
But we still have, I mean, I'm still working on what we're gonna do with the property, maybe with a, you know, a private partnership with the municipality, as a town, or something down there. And,
Absolutely.
that fits within the guidelines. Like I said, I think we discussed at several different meetings as far as doing a elderly home down there. So, we'll see how things go. But I'm with you. That's
Could I-
exactly what I looked at.
As a resident, can I want me to sit out there first? I would say that this is a legal issue that should be discussed with an attorney, any kind of encroachment, and get advice from an attorney to see what they could do, whether it be what you said or what you said. They should be handling that, not
Right.
the town board.
Thank you,
I'm just bringing it
Right,
into
but
consideration.
the town board
thank you.
does have to make the decision to do that, to move forward with it. or
With the
whatever.
advice of a professional
Yeah.
attorney
And
who's
like
on
I said,
staff and who gets paid.
I
to be
have
on
not
staff.
But we also need the
opportunity. It is-
prelim information prior to, so we can make our informed decision on which way to go.
Can I have 3 minutes yet?
David, stop it. The last thing I wanna say is I'm extremely disappointed in the website, and I think it creates too much frustration, and there's too much negativity going on. It shouldn't be like that.
That's kind
That's
of
all I
my
have to
point.
say.
Well, that was my topic too. Like, I am astounded and almost speechless about it. Like, you have to have a fire department to take care of emergency situations. You have to have good roads. Good roads serve you every day. A website is literally an everyday information highway, or it's supposed to be. It's the portal to transparency in government. Not having a website is the exact opposite of having transparency in government. It's affecting hiring. You should have hirings posted on there. It's affecting school.
The hiring is
closings.
posted up there.
I'm got my 3 minutes. It affects school closings. It affects the entire community. In an ideal world, we should have a website that has like forums where we could discuss things. I didn't know there was free sand up for grabs and things like that. There's all kinds of information that's not getting out there, and a website is now the main form of communication, not newspapers. It's astounding to me that there are not at least 2 people in charge of the website, because what if you had one person that had a key to the fire department? It makes no sense. If that person is unavailable, somebody else has to have some sort of oversight and access. And if there's nobody in the office or the board that can look at the person, how do we know that the person's competent? We know the person isn't competent, in my opinion. How do we know that they're not even like corrupt? At one point I hit one of those hyperlinks and I'm pretty sure it took me to a Spanish site that was selling like cars or insurance or something. That's a money generating thing. Is anybody checking on any of those things? Has anybody reviewed his credentials? Any of those things? Has anybody exercised any of the options that have been proposed? Like, I don't have an assistant, but if I had an assistant, I would have them checking out 4 or 5 town websites near us, finding 2 or 3 that they like, calling up that town and saying, hey, who does your website? So we can call them up and hire them. Because if a town has a website that's functional for years and years and years, go with that vendor. Our only excuse would be there is no money. And I don't think in this town you can say there's no money. It should be the priority to get this website up 3 months ago. It's the priority 2 years ago, I think. But it should be the priority that last month we should have had it up. The month before we should have had it up. Not the end of the year, not next year. How long does it go on and on and on and on and on? Like, why can't we put a deadline on hiring? I think there was that company that came in. A company would be great because then you'd have access all the time. If one person wasn't available, the next person could. Like, how do you put a cost on that? Like, I would put the same amount of resources as I would on anything else, any other emergency system in the town. Like, I don't understand. If you have to spend $2,000 a month on the website, to me, that's worth it. It's astounding to me that, like, the website isn't a priority. Like, I don't even understand.
I'd like to continue that point. I'll apologize to you, Richard, for my comments earlier, because I think we agree on the same thing. I think everyone in this room agrees that the website is terrible. Where I disagree with Richard and the Facebook post that he put up was the responsibility. I understand that Kevin's a supervisor, but the responsibility to hire and fire the webmaster is on the 5 members of the board. We've known that this website has been a disaster for quite a while. It's important that somebody fire this guy. I understand that we're under contract with this guy till February, but it doesn't matter whether we fire him today or we fire him January 31st. We're not going to get the money out of this guy that we are paying for. We're not getting the services rendered for the money we're paying for. It's a responsibility of the town to do the right thing and fire this guy. It should have been done probably before, like you mentioned, probably 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay,
And
it's too late to do it tonight, but
But it
I
is.
will bring a resolution to the board at the next meeting. I will bring it up, I'll draft it, and I will put it up, and then there we go. Let the
But what I'm
board-
trying to say is the responsibility is not on you either. I'm not trying to put the responsibility on you or put the responsibility on Kevin. But the problem is you can't single out really anybody because it's a 5-person decision, right?
But I
You
agree
need
with
3
you
out of 5 to make that decision. So we're fighting with each other, but we really want the same thing. We want the website to be open and transparent. One of the other things that we fought for in this town, or that you fought for this town, is to try to get a sign up. And I know that the town is working on trying to get a sign. So the town is working on trying to go to transparency, but we can't get anything when we put the blame all on the supervisor. Because it takes a 5-person board to do anything. The supervisor's only 1 vote. And I think that we just spin our wheels a lot by blaming one single person. And you know, I might be guilty of it too because I probably put a lot on Reg. But I put a lot on Reg in this certain situation because Reg and people that tend to support the ideas and bring ideas here for Reg to support has known that this website has been terrible for 5 or 6 months and no resolution has been brought forward to this board to address it. All it's been is, excuse my French, bitching and complaining on Facebook and in these public forums, but nothing's really getting done.
You're doing the exact thing that you said don't do. You're singling
I'm not
out
on the
one
board.
person.
Well, I
You're not
can't.
You're singling out one person and saying, well, since you're
Well,
voicing the concern, it's your obligation to bring it.
It is-
No,
it is
the whole
not-
board should have done it.
The whole board is
No.
responsible
And
for
I
it.
didn't single out anybody.
Oh, well, Richard definitely,
I'm not
listen,
talking
I
about-
have my 3 minutes too, Michael, so we'll calm down here a little bit.
Yeah.
I never addressed your concern, I addressed Richard's concern. Richard's concern was that the supervisor was the end-all be-all for this problem, and that's not the case. Much like it's not an end-all be-all on Reg. However, the one that's bitching and complaining about it 100% of the time is Reg, and who has not brought any proactive
In
measures
your
forward. I bitch starting today, and I'm not on the board, so I can't introduce a resolution.
So
right?
let's work together and say,
So,
the board, can you please address this? as.
We are addressing it, okay?
But in an effective, immediate manner, because this is dragged on and on and on, and that kind of segues into another aside. The zoning board person who's, or not the zoning board, but the enforcement officer who's sick, is there any, kind of timeline if any officer is ill to replace them or have their duties covered by somebody else? Because what if that illness
If you
goes
would
a
have been
year?
listening to me, I said that they do have a shared services agreement, and I will make sure that the town of Plattsburgh, or whomever, or maybe the town of Peru, whoever he taps on the shoulder, usually it's the town of Plattsburgh first, but I don't wanna speak for him, he's the code officer. So, like I say, they do share those services back and forth, and
I wasn't
there
saying
is-
specifically, I'm just saying, is there a mechanism in place to replace
Yes.
people that are ill? Like, is there an official, like, after 1 month, after 3 weeks, after a year, like, how long does a person, whose duties are
That'd be
important
inhuman to do that.
We have
No, no.
12 weeks of
I mean, my
family medical leave in
goodness.
New York State, right? So 3
Well,
months.
that's what I'm asking. Is
Yeah,
there
probably
a-
3 months, right?
I'm just asking for the information. Is there a timeline, or maybe the answer is no, and that needs to be addressed?
The correct answer would be that he's an appointed official, so technically he doesn't have to come to work the entire year until the next year. Well, no, theoretically speaking, I'm appointed by the county. If I
Yeah.
don't come to work the entire year, I get paid regardless of whether I show up to work or not.
but I mean,
That's the
it-
information I was looking for. That
I mean,
needs to
it's
be-
not a good answer,
the
but
only
it's
thing
true.
I,
Just like Reg, he's elected. If he doesn't come to work, he's still
yeah,
gonna get
he
paid.
just wants to not show up,
Yeah, I was asking for that information.
I
So,
mean-
in my opinion, that's something that needs to be
but
addressed.
all I can tell you is they do have a gentleman's agreement that they cover each other, because they all take vacations and they're all gone at different points, and he helps cover theirs and they help cover ours. And that's, normally, I let them work that out. I'm the micromanager, I got enough to do, that I'm not gonna micromanage on their, who's covering who or when they're gonna be covered. Now, the code enforcement officer here at this town does let me know when he's gonna be out and who is covering him. This was a sudden illness, so it's literally been 3 or 4 days, okay?
No, I appreciate you answered my question. My question was.
So I don't think it
not
was
about this- it
a
was
time
not
for
about
the
this
board to step
specific-
in and say, hey, what are you doing?
No, it was not about this specific information. I heard that that's what triggered in my mind
Right.
to ask the question, hey, what happens if
Right.
any officer is incapacitated for a certain amount of time? Is there a cutoff date? And the answer is maybe no. So that
Right.
was my only question. I just wanted the information for myself that I wasn't questioning anything about, the zoning.
Okay, so
officer.
who is covering Kevin for him? I'm on the codes committee, I should know. Who is
Where'd you
covering
call
him
him?
right now?
Call him,
I tried to call him. I
Okay.
sent him a text. I've
When?
got it all on my phone. I haven't been
He's
able to
sick.
reach him
I don't know.
for almost
they basically treat appointed
2
like
weeks
elected,
now.
so if you don't come to work and you don't do your job, the point would be that maybe next time you're not gonna get appointed to
Yeah.
continue that
Right.
job or not be elected to do that job.
barring an illness, like I said. We had a councilman that was supposed to be here today that just got ill.
Right.
Things happen, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put nor would I want to.
Before we go, can I just make one comment on the
There you go,
website?
there you go.
We have asked for a legal interpretation of the contract, so we know where we can go as far as getting rid of that contract that we have.
The worst comes to worst, if you just broke it, wouldn't you just owe the guy the rest of the money for the contract to be done with it?
That's what we gotta find out how we can do. We
And,
aren't
and
sure.
he's already been paid, and that, I put it out here the last 2 meetings. I handed all the councilmen, they were all here that night. The 2 that were highly recommended, okay? One of them does work for a town that's next up, alright? I don't make that decision on my own. I've been told several times I'm not a dictator on this board, and I've never been that way, okay? I have to have at least 3 people, it was done by a motion to hire this guy. So I have to have at least 3 people decide that they no longer want to do that. The other thing that I spoke to them about is that if we are going to make a transition to a new operator of our website, that if we fired the one that we have now, if we are able to do it, after talking to the lawyers, and I'm not getting into that up here, for specific reasons, it's being handled by the lawyers, if we go that route. But we are going to have no website, period. That means there will be, in by open meetings law, if there's no website, I don't have to post it. It would have been the easiest thing for me to do, was to fire this guy 4 months ago. And the only thing that our town clerk would have to do would be to post it on the bulletin board. I have bent over backwards trying to make sure that I can get what we need up here until we get somebody that's competent to do it. But if this body and this town would like me to just do away with the website tomorrow morning
Well,
or Monday morning and not have any notifications other than driving down here to do it, hey,
I don't think that was ever a subject
Yeah.
matter, Kevin.
Can you start looking for somebody
I don't,
now?
I don't.
we
think-
have. I don't know how many times I
And
can
then
keep
in
telling you.
February, you'll just be done with it.
David,
We
made
have-
an excellent
Have someone
point. That
else.
money
I just got done
The money's
saying,
gone.
Heather, we have
in this,
two different firms we're looking at right now.
We
And
know
they're being
realistically
looked at by the
February-
councilman.
We know realistically by February whether this has come to a conclusion, correct?
Yeah, because I'm gonna guess that this board would never appoint
Right.
that position back
But,
to
but
them.
we can reasonably sit here and say, by February, we can flip a calendar, we all have a calendar, by February, there should be some.
By January,
some
that's when the
change.
appointments are made.
Some change that is gonna take place, right? So,
No, but the
Well,
so
that's a
in
contract.
the
Contract
last
February.
90 days of this issue, why are we gonna make it such a huge issue? If we're, listen, realistically, if we're not gonna recoup our money, right, we know that. Realistically, we know we weren't treated well by this employee, right? We know that. Realistically, we know there's other avenues, we know that. And realistically, the calendar is gonna move.
Yep,
So
while
why
we're
are we
working on it.
beating ourselves down with this? Now, I'm gonna leave that where it is. The only thing I'm not aware of, how much is the contract
Well, a little over $1,000.
for 12 months? Okay, good, we're talking about $1,000. So now.
There's upcharges for certain things, but I have
But-
not got any of those upcharges.
But now we all have a price tag on it, so we understand that. So I'm gonna finish my time here today, cause I've got 4-month golden retrievers and 2 kennels for over 2.5 hours. I just wanna say, thank you to the highway department for the end of Vassar Road and the end of Shingle Street, for shared services, to get the paving done, okay? I wanna say that, but I also wanna bring to the board's attention this, that in April of this year, I independently went to the county and spoke with their assistant over at the county highway department with my concerns about those intersections, well, specifically about Shingle Street, about that intersection, and I found no satisfaction. Okay, I went a little bit further and dug a little bit further and contacted our legislator, okay, who seemed very intent on wanting to know what the problem was, and I expressed my concerns to him, and I let the whole issue die, and it fell away, okay? And then miraculously, this fall, those 2 intersections were repaired, and that's terrific, because it's my tax dollars when Mike drives the dump truck and the plow across that intersection and damages my equipment. I own that equipment. The county doesn't own that equipment. I do. I'm the taxpayer. That's why I brought it to the county. But I will tell you this, the county was not happy with me, okay? They were not happy with me bringing this to them. They were adamant originally that they weren't responsible, but somehow the shared services, it worked out. And it trickled down, and I left it alone, and it got done. Sometimes that has to happen, and it will be good, right? So I'm gonna leave that. Maybe shared services will assist in some other way for Mike, and it'll be good for somebody else. Now, I was here last week at the meeting. I told you what was gonna happen if we didn't hire this guy last week, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, I sit in my recliner all day long and look out my front window on Flat Rock Road. That's all I do. The snowplow didn't come past my house until 11:13. 11:13. You know how many school buses I watched go past? You know how many heavy goods vehicles I watched go past? You know how many people I saw drive on their first snowstorm go past? Thank goodness there was no accident. Okay? So if we're not gonna be serious about taking it serious, that Mike's department should be fully staffed 100% of the time. No excuses. Don't want to hear them. Not gonna happen. I'm paying the taxes. Get it done. Mike's department needs to be fully staffed all the time. And you know what? If Mike doesn't have fully staffed, guess what? Call Sheriff's Services, call Peru, see if they can give you an operator for the morning. Call Plattsburgh, see if you can get an operator for the morning. Beekmantown, I don't care. Do your jobs. That's it. End of story. There's no excuse for school buses being out. First snowstorm, 11/13 on Flat Rock Road. Thank you. I don't mean to be upset about this, but I've waited a week just to thank people. Okay? But what hurts me is my prediction from last week about not putting this operator on in a timely fashion played out, and I had no control over it. So what I looked out of my window and saw was nothing that John Exford created. I didn't create it, and I'm not bringing blame. But I'm telling you straight up that Mike's department is the hardest working department in this town, and if that doesn't get respected. As me as a taxpayer, if I don't respect that, then I'm not doing my business with you guys. I'm not being a good taxpayer with you guys, and that's what's important here. Okay, 100% of the time, everything falls down to communication. 100% of the time, we're human beings. We communicate. That's what we do. And if we choose not to communicate, our problems are our own. So I think I've used up my 3 minutes. I do have to leave. I'm sorry. But if these dogs don't see me in 10 minutes, they're not gonna be happy with me, okay?
Yeah.
So, thank you very
yeah.
much.
Just,
Thank you.
can I just answer two things? First of all, there are a lot of people that work hard down here. I know that you believe.
Well, it's
that
my
that is-
opinion.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not disparaging anyone, so don't
Okay.
defend yourself, Kevin.
I'm
Don't
not
def-
defending
don't
myself.
defend-
That
don't-
was
don't-
gonna.
Nobody defend themselves.
Get the
Nobody.
golden retrievers
I'm
and
just
watch on
saying,
YouTube.
in my opinion, okay, if I had to drive out on Flat Rock Road at 11 o'clock the other morning,
Right.
and I had an accident, guess what would have happened? Somebody would have gotten sued, right? And then the excuses would have begun. And then we'd have played this whole legal game. The whole thing is, if we just do our jobs, we won't have to worry about the backside of life, because it all gets taken care of on the backside. Okay? Just putting it out there. I'm not here to disparage anyone. I'm just here to tell you guys there's good things happening and some bad things happening. And we got it all solved. The road's clear, nobody had an accident, right? It's all terrific.
Right.
But if we don't communicate the problems that we have in this town, and we don't respect that the communication needs a solution, then we're not doing our jobs. That's all.
Yeah.
We're just not doing our jobs.
We've been trying to
And if I
hire
don't get
that.
home and let 2 puppies out, I'm gonna have a problem. Okay?
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Much more concise. One good thing that came up, if you remember, we had the cybersecurity lady here. The domain and everything is in the town's name, so if you get rid of that guy, we still own the site.
oh yeah.
And you should be able to just turn the keys over to whoever the next one is.
Right. but
And
there'll
say,
be-
give you a spare key for emergency.
I mean,
What if you don't fire the guy and just not use him for the rest of the year, so that way the town's not breaking the contract, but they're not gonna rely on him to do it?
Right,
If, I understand that there's probably like, I don't know if there's like a generation gap, I don't know how to say it without being offensive. But uploading a website is not hard. My 10-year-old daughter could run our website for the town. Like, it's not difficult. So I don't know if it's a matter of like, somebody else just being able to, like, if you need me to come down here and put up the meeting 24 hours in advance, I'd be happy to do it, it'll take me 5 minutes. But to rely on some guy who's not doing it is,
I don't know how you would do that without the accessibility.
well, the
to
fact that the town is giving
access.
accessibility to somebody without keeping accessibility to themselves is definitely a separate issue. That's a security
That,
issue. It's a red
that
flag.
was supposed to have happened 3 or 4 months ago.
Right.
I cannot grab this guy by the ear and get him down here to do that. I asked for training down here. Donna can tell you that. We several times we even set a date up and it didn't happen. Okay, and that was my contention. I mean, there's no way I can fix everything. I'll never tell you that I can. Okay, I'm limited by certain facts. Okay, just like the gentleman that just left, Mr. Exford. He's all wound up thinking that we have not been trying to hire for the highway garage. She's right, it should never be not fully operational. But the highway superintendent, I think, can tell you, or anybody in here, how hard I have tried to get him employees. I can't force somebody to go up there and take that job. It's been on the website, it's been in the papers, we've advertised it multiple times. I've interviewed even when I was helping Flag that day with the blacktopping for you, because you were short, I even talked to two people up there to work
But
with
it's
them.
not disparaging or personal against you, Kevin. It's just trying to
No.
find a solution to the problem of the website.
What is
Why
the
can't you guys
solution,
get this
Dave?
guy on the phone right now after we get out of this meeting and be like, I want access to our website. How do I get into our website? And I'll spend an hour in that office right now showing you how to upload every single one of these agendas and minutes to that website. I'm sure Richard knows how to do it. I'm sure Reg knows how to do these things. I'm sure Mike knows how to do these things. It's not a personal attack against you that you've never put a website up so you don't know how to do it. But this guy is not serving the town at all. He's hurting everybody on this board because
Right.
people are having a lack of faith and trust in the board because of this guy. He's ruining the reputation of the town government that is doing a lot of good things, like John said, and all because of something so minuscule. I think once you're showing how easy it is to put stuff on the website, you're gonna be like, holy shit, we've
I
been
got no
battling for a
problem
year over this?
if I don't have access, and we are supposed to have access by the contract.
Right.
Training was supposed to come with
So
it,
he broke the contract himself.
and that's what I need.
Yeah,
I
because
need,
there is a contract right now.
I need
You'll
to
be able
know
terminate 'em.
who they wanna go with, or the board can tell me that they wanna do away with the website we have right now until a new one is put up by somebody else. I don't get to do that by myself. I
Right.
listen to all the complaints from you. That's my job. I ran for the position. I listened to the complaints from everybody outside, including the employees down
Well,
there.
it's not a complaint,
Nobody's
it's constructive criticism. Mine's really not a complaint. You
You
would
can-
agree
you
with
can
me that the
just-
website
you
has to
can-
be good.
You can criticize all you want, okay? But it doesn't change what the facts are, okay? I can't do it alone, all right? I don't have
I said
that
that.
authority.
I appreciate when you
did say
guys get things right, I really do. And this is one thing where I'm disappointed with every member on the board because, and I hate the fact that you opened the door up to maybe we'll have no website. To me, that's not even an acceptable proposal at all for even a minute. In other words, we need to do better. We shouldn't be looking at what's the minimum we could do. We should do better. If we have to leave this website as is and spend money and hire a new website tomorrow and get it up tomorrow, you can literally go to Fiverr.com and for $55 you can have a website up tomorrow that'll blow your socks away. Like, it's insane that, I don't want to use like the word unaware or whatever.
Ah.
We need to
Let me just,
focus everything on getting a
get what you
website. Like,
I can't do any more, okay? I can't do any more than to get the information to the rest of the board and to ask them to make a determination on what they want me to do, okay?
has anybody
That,
called other towns?
that is,
Just a yes or no? Has anybody-
Could I just say one final thing? In the interim, until we get a new group involved, I am fully capable of putting these notices up. All I need is a password. I can actually do it from my own home computer. That's how simple this is. It's simple. We're looking way too much into this. Of course, we're not getting rid of our website. That's crazy.
How can,
We're not gonna do away
how
with
can
it.
we not have access? What if this guy has a breakdown and puts up scandalous things on our website? Nobody can go in and shut it down? You can have it up for weeks at a time that nobody could go in and like take down, like, what if he's working for the Russians or
we
what?
can what if, mister, but I can't fix the problem until the guy gives me it or we fire him and have somebody else take over and put another website
But
out.
it doesn't feel like
Period.
red alert on fire priority.
Can I
It should be like-
speak? First of all, we had a wonderful website.
Yes.
Free of charge for everything. All we had to do is the former supervisor, Rick, put this up. The minutes were there for 2 years. Everything was wonderful. We had a group that didn't think it was wonderful. So you guys did your due diligence, here we go again, and looked for another website website company. You got it. Everybody was in agreement with this. So it's not, nobody should be disappointed with the town board. They did what was asked of them.
That's
They
incorrect.
hired.
though. That's
What do you mean it's
It's
incorrect?
incorrect because it's been shit for 5 months, Donna.
I know it
so
has
when you know
been,
that it's
but
a
at
problem.
least we have one in due diligence, and if we get rid of the website right now,
Your due
we're gonna
diligence was
have
done 8
legal
months ago,
issues
though.
again like we had with people saying it's not on the website. At least we did what we had to do. He sent up emails. If it doesn't get on the website, it was discussed that it was okay, as long as he has the confirmations that we tried.
And I agree with all that. So
Right,
I agree.
so
I'm not
right
arguing
now
with
to
that.
get rid of a website, when we don't have a website, and next month coming in and, well, it's an illegal meeting, so we can't have the meeting. That doesn't solve anything. We need to, I agree, we need to get a new website. But we have to get it through, be it approved by the computer people, our new IT people. We just can't have it approved by, just by saying, okay, let's go with this one. Am I correct when I say that?
Well,
But the residents are upset because
Yes,
they've been complaining for
There
6
was-
months.
I know, the employees have been upset,
But-
the town board's been upset.
So when can we expect an answer though? Because right now we're just told that we're looking into it, we're looking into it, we're looking into it, and I know
I'm not.
you don't
I
want me to-
haven't told you that, Dave, and I don't want to cut you off. All I'm telling you is that I gave two feasible firms that are willing to take it over.
So why has no one brought
That
that
were
up?
recommended
Besides you,
by
I'm
the
saying.
IT
Besides you, I
company.
said.
I did, and I gave the information to the councilman. So
where's the
I'm
motion?
waiting, okay? Reggie actually gave me his opinion. North Shore, right?
I did.
Okay.
Of course I did.
And-
And right
and
away
yeah.
I did.
So that's what has the process, okay? Once we do that, once I get all of their feedback on what one that they would like to move forward with, then we can pass a resolution to hire that company. And like you were saying, I was hoping that we could simultaneously get that guy to work on the one that we had and get it functional, so that we weren't without it. Because if I fire this guy and he takes it down, we have nothing.
One last, hopefully helpful suggestion. Just hire the new firm and put up a second website so you have redundancy. Maybe we can, a domain name costs like $100 to lock up for 10 years. Why not just open up a second website so you have redundancy if something happens to the first site? Or you just, as soon as the second site is up and running, you lock down the first site so that he doesn't have access, that he can.
You're way off on your figures though, cause we pay $150 something a year, not for 10 years, okay?
But what I'm saying is it's a priority that needs whatever resources it needs, in my opinion. Like there's a disconnect here in generations or something maybe. This is as important as, newspaper proposals. This is about government, and that website gives vital emergency information.
You've
School
made that
closings,
statement several
town
times, sir.
hires, everything under the sun, and how do you put a price tag on that? We should be putting every penny that we can afford into the website, not trying to cut corners here, because cutting corners has resulted in 5 months.
Who's cutting corners?
Well, I'm saying whatever resources need to get this.
Well, I'm saying, who's cutting corners? There isn't nobody on this board that's tried to cut any corners. We've only worked and acted in good faith to try to resolve an issue. Nobody's tried to cut any corners.
If you gave David $1,000, he could have the problem solved in 2 days on.
I can't give David $1,000.
I know, but I'm saying that.
Without the
Give
board.
me up to $10,000.
What I'm saying
Then I could be going to jail.
What I'm saying is this is a problem that shouldn't drag on for
$9,999.
Monday morning, 6 o'clock.
Whether it should or it shouldn't, we can't change what the history of it is. And like I said, all I can tell you is as soon as I get what direction we need to go, we'll do a resolution and we will do that.
If I was a board member, I would propose that we
And-
hire one of these other sites immediately or as soon as possible. If
You
not
know, though,
sooner.
things
Right.
look better on paper, you need to have somebody, I mean, the guy looked wonderful on paper, the company they hired, but you need to have.
Evidence, you need to.
Evidence.
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
to see websites
So
that
we
they're
don't,
already
we're
doing.
not in this situation
Right.
again in 6 months. I
Yeah.
mean, and
Excuse me.
first of all, school closings, unless you have a full-time webmaster, that's not gonna happen.
No, and they all have the robo messaging now
Right.
for every
No
school.
one in the
does.
public forum is looking for the board to take it personally, though, is what I'm saying. We just
Right.
wanna know why it's taking so long to get it resolved. That's it. I
Because
think that's
we-
what you guys want,
we-
right?
we-
Is why is it taking so long for this website to work?
Because we were
Couldn't you go
told
back
that
to
it was
Arthur
being
until
taken
this
care
is all
of by the
resolved?
individual.
You go back to the same
And
thing though,
it
last time.
didn't come to head
I don't
until
know.
about, a
They should've
month
just
ago.
kept
And
it.
that's when I went
Should've just
forward
kept
with
going.
looking at proposal.
Right.
Because we kept on saying that, okay, he said he's gonna do this, this, and this, and it didn't get done. Maybe-
Well, really, we owe a lot of thanks to Richard Donut for going and creating his own, that a lot of people follow. And that's terrific, Richard,
That are
that you did that.
I can't
His isn't
up
open.
here support a private website.
I
said
think
his is
anybody
open.
contact
Neither should
Richard,
you.
they could get in it.
It's hard.
Either way, the board does not
We
and
shouldn't
cannot
Yeah, we shouldn't have a
advertise for any private website.
Yeah, we
No.
shouldn't have a private citizen substituting for our work and our obligations.
Alright, so now we're just gonna, we're beating a dead issue, okay? You can keep going with it, but it's not gonna change the facts. And it's not gonna change that we need to do something about it. So let's just agree on that, please.
So yeah, at least expect more information in December, though, probably, right?
Absolutely.
Get, how many, two? First you get yours too, so we got three opinions that we could present. I don't know how, which way Reg went on it, I know how I went on it. For the
But it all
website.
goes with the fact, Howard, that they look good on paper,
Yep.
but I mean,
I,
you
Well,
guys
that's
are
why,
the town board, but the employees here and the resident, I mean, they deserve to be heard too.
oh, yeah.
Because I for one would never have said to get rid of, or not get rid, that's not the right word, for the website we had before the other one was up and running and okayed that it was the way it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been primitive, maybe, I mean, I don't even think the word primitive was.
No,
It
there was a
one-
few
it had
things it
everything
couldn't
we
do.
needed.
But I believe also,
Yeah, but
Donna,
everything was there.
It wasn't.
It was
You
there.
could find everything, everything.
yeah, the only
It was
thing you
simple.
couldn't do was post a video that was over 32 megabytes or some, whatever it was.
Right.
That's what the problem
But a
was.
lot
The
of town
video.
boards don't post their meetings on the website.
Usually do audio
Howard had something to
files.
say.
the thing,
And he does it too, so if anybody wants to watch it, they can watch it on YouTube.
the thing that,
That's
right.
my understanding is when we set up with this new website,
That would be probably.
our old
allowed
website
unless
was gonna be
it's
used to set up the new one, but also be kept as a backup, which never happened.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
it should have been done
And I
that.
believe,
Because now there's no data anywhere you go on,
I
it's no data,
believe
no
that he
data.
has all the original website backed up somewhere on the cloud where he knows how to get to it, okay? And, or,
Hopefully it
I
gets
shouldn't even
resolved
say
at
the
least.
cloud.
I'm sure
It should
Sam
say
was still
back
here.
up.
Hopefully it at least gets resolved before like March or April, because when I had T-ball parents calling and screaming at me that they couldn't sign their kid up
Yeah.
on the website, I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
And that's where I was going with the department thing was, that guy is doing 4 jobs right now.
Right.
It wasn't me. John thought I was gonna try to defend myself. Nothing against these guys at the highway, but that guy never stops.
If
Sam.
you look look at Northwood. Go down and look at every New York State DOT roadside shop. There's a sign up, DOT is hiring, no CDL needed.
Oh yeah, right down the
Yeah.
interstate.
Right down the interstate.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones having this problem
It's
getting it.
downstate too.
Private industry is starting to advertise, come down, we'll train you.
We'll train you, we'll give
Those
you a
people don't wanna work.
$3,500 incentive.
Sign on and boom.
People don't wanna work.
It's true.
Might have to do that.
Well, you can't do that
Can't do
because
that
the
union
contract,
Oh, true, true.
Because they're unionizing.
State is unionized too, though.
Yeah, they're just advertising, no CDL required.
They're very handy about what they can and can't do because of the rules of the union.
Well, at this, it is 1 o'clock. We've been here most of the Saturday morning and into the afternoon now, so.
Next regular meeting, 20th.
I will, yep, you wanna read those out?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Seeing that he already filed his paperwork away.
Yeah, I
Next
got it
regular
right here.
meeting is gonna be 12/20 at 6 o'clock. Okay, we have a scheduled work session if needed at 12:05 at 6 o'clock and 12:19 at 6 o'clock. Can I make the motion we adjourn?
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, we're gonna finish putting up Christmas lights down at River
I'll
Street.
go down and help you, but I gotta go get it.
Everybody sign the bills?
I believe so. Yeah.
What time did you put down for the official closing? 12,
12:55.
thank you.
No, there's the new one that needed to be
There's
signed.
flyers on the stand and pass them out.
We didn't have red, Vern wasn't here.
No, I just put on top.
Oh, okay.
Did you get one? I'll tell you what, he did really good by me.
Like you
Next time you're doing, negotiation team and stuff,